I mean, you were in the room in 2018 in Helsinki when this happened. What do you make of the fact that Putin has now been invited to Alaska?
Well, it's very gracious of Putin to come to former Russian America for this summit. This is not quite as bad it's very gracious inviting the Taliban to Camp David to talk about the peace negotiations in Afghanistan, but it certainly reminds one of that. The only better place for Putin than Alaska would be if the summit were being held in Moscow.
Protesters on opposing sides, both demanding to be heard. In Liverpool today, protesters draped in Union Jacks shouted for asylum seekers to be removed from this hotel. Across police lines, counter-demonstrators shouted back. On the anti-migrant side, several women said they reject the labels usually associated with these kind of protests, saying they are mothers and grandmothers with real concerns.
I don't care what their far-right slogans are. I'm just an ordinary person who is concerned about the children in our community. I'm not far-right. It's ridiculous to say such a thing.
Here's Uncle Jack. Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts. I need to know on the audio, we're going to try and look at the camera today. This is the first show that we have done outside since last year. And it's for a whole host of reasons. And we are an hour late today because me trying to do it out here on the deck and my system not working. So I apologize and thank each and every single one of you for your extreme and amazing and wonderful, awesome patience. Can you hear us? How is the audio? Are you hearing the bugs as loud as I am in my ear? I'm hearing them super, super loud in my ear. The microphone is picking them up.
I don't hear them.
You don't hear them at all?
No.
Oh, well, okay.
I don't hear them in their ear.
Oh,
I'm outside my ear.
Okay, maybe that's.
It's outside your ear. It's not in your ear.
Sound is good, maybe a little low. All right, let's see. Oh, now that's gonna get loud.
Now that's a little
yeah, but if they need us louder, then that's what you're gonna have to deal with.
Fuzziness.
I can try and turn it down a little bit on Leah's end and my end. Let's see if that might help some.
Are we fuzzy though?
Are we fuzzy? Everybody's saying the audio is good.
Okay.
So forgive the lack of the normal intro of hey guys, welcome back to
Hey
Resistance
guys,
Chicks.
welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. You got a great show going on today. Don't remember how the rest of the intro goes because I just stand here most of the time and smile.
With a redneck accent?
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. All right, I'm going to try and get the brightness up on this screen so that we don't look so dark. In the meantime, Leah, tell them what we've got coming on today's show.
All right, so drum roll, please. Putin is going to meet with Uncle Trumpy. We call him Uncle Trump around here because we got Uncle Walt across the street that does the lawnmowers. He's not our uncle, but he grew up with our family, so we call him Uncle Trump around here. Uncle Trumpy is going to be meeting with Putin in Alaska, and the world is a little bit upset because they're kind of hoping that the gravy train will continue. But sometimes, you know what? That buffet, it's been sitting there for a while, and all that stuff been sitting there, and they bring it out, and they bring it in, put it in the fridge, bring it back out, put it under the heat lamp, and that stuff's old, man. We're done with Ukraine, so let's just get this thing done, okay? And they're like, no. They just still want to be in the free food line because they're just getting all kind of your money. It's not even your money. What they're getting, if you guys got to understand how this works for monetary purposes. It's not like you're working every day, taxes, and paying for this war in Ukraine, okay? That's not how this is working. You are working every day, and you're paying for what they did last year, and now they're spending money for you to pay next year, and next year, and next year, and next year, and next year. And it's through inflation. It's not through your, if it was through taxes, you would be up through the roof. All of a sudden, the government knocked on your door and said, you know what, I need 10 grand. I need 10 grand
Right.
from each family this year. And we're going to give it to illegal migrants. And now I do actually hear those little buggies in my ear. So,
we're working as best we can. It's fine. You're going to be fine. And the sweat bees are here around. But
yeah, they're not sweat bees. They're hoverflies, dude.
Well, whatever they are.
They're little hoverflies that have been really bad.
You know what I've been doing?
What?
So I sit out here and I work. I literally,
I
if I see, no. It's no. Like that. I'll sit out here. Like when I'm working out here, I kill them like that. It's one of these. Leah's made this placemat. It's so beautiful. And there's 4 of them sitting out here. So this has become my fly swatter.
Weird hoverfly. It's like aliens. I think they got little microchips in them. So yeah, Trump's going to meet with Putin.
Spies.
And I got an interesting clip with Mike Rowe.
Diane is here from next door. Hi, Diane. Literally stone's throw down there. And her adorable dog, Nikki, that we get to walk. She says, I hear y'all. Great to see y'all. Glad you're here, Diane.
So, hey, Diane. So, yeah, I have an interesting clip with the Epoch Times and Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
Where Mike Rowe he's finally exposing the organ harvesting in China.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
In Japan, they have a super demographic decline.
Yeah.
They have had nearly 1 million more deaths than births in 2024. I know. Like, are there going to ever be Japanese? Like, there goes Mr. Miyagi.
So they have a big, like, pornography sex doll problem over there.
They do. But they
like, the women don't want to be with the men legit.
I know. They need it. But I don't know what it is about. They're not pro-family. Now, the big news for today, the people in the UK, they've had enough. Where's my thing?
I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like having a tail. I do feel like some sort of Middle Eastern, like you know, like that's what I feel like.
So yeah, no,
like some old lady, like sitting. We should be sitting with our legs crossed, and then the flies come in and you swap them with like like that's what I feel like. It makes me feel very earthy.
In the UK, they had protests this week because they're tired. They're tired. But mostly, and I didn't even want to put this in the title, but they're actually calling it pedos out because of the migrants that have come in and are harming their children.
Yeah.
And they are tired of it.
Yeah.
And
I'm tired of it.
Yeah. And so they've been just massive protests everywhere.
Yeah.
Just massive protests. And then there is a clip of migrants coming over the English Channel into the UK chanting Allahu Akbar.
I know, yeah, we have that.
And Nigel Farage, says, like, rightly so, that's a little bit of a security threat. Not a lot of it, but a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not a little bit, but a lot of it.
Yeah.
I got that in first. So let's hit that right now. Farage warns of a Nigel Farage, who is the head of the Reform Party there in the UK, conservative firebrand. National emergency as illegal boat migrants filmed shouting Allahu Akbar. I would think that would be like a straight ticket, like back. Like you don't get to come in. Like Lauren Southern was refused to come entrance into the United Kingdom. She was a threat to no one, but she was a threat to their political instability. I would think that this is a threat to British lives. The Channel migrant crisis continued over the weekend. 435. That's a lot. I want you guys to picture 435 people across the street from you, and now they're just and then they just disperse into the country, right? Because that's what it is. They're coming in at one area.
Right.
Were brought ashore at the port of Dover on Saturday after crossing the busy waterway from the beaches of France in 7 small boats organized by people smuggling. This is human trafficking, like worldwide. We're supposed to be against that.
Mm-hmm.
So far this year, a record pace of illegal arrivals has been seen, totaling 25,000 since January. On Sunday, British boss Nigel Farage shared footage of what appeared to be one of the migrant boats crossing the channel, comprised as typical. These aren't kids. There's no women on these boats. What are they doing? Where are they going? They're going into migrant hotels. I hate to say this every week. I sound like a broken record, but I still don't know what the issue is. Like, what is the plan? Why are they doing this, guys? Destabilizing your country. It's insane. And honestly, you know what I think it is? The only thing that makes sense is that somehow radical Muslims are in charge. They're in charge and they're bringing in their people. Like I would bring in Christians.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. And if I were in charge, I would bring them in. And
Right.
I would pretend, but I wouldn't need to pretend anything because Christians that I'm bringing in are going to be calm and peaceful and good citizens.
Right.
And you're going to want them there.
Right.
Right. Even if it does have a effect on the tax burden, mostly young military-age males. In the footage, the illegals could be heard shouting what sounded to be Allahu Akbar. The phrase that we know is the jihadist battle cry, typically translated in the West as God is great. However, others have noted a more accurate translation would be Allah is greater. Of other words, Allah is greater than your government or God. You know what? Just sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but you can't come in. Okay? For now, Britain is a nominally Christian country. At least they say so on paper. These men will now be free to roam our streets thanks to British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. This is a national emergency, says Nigel Farage. It comes amid increasing anger over mass immigration, with a recent poll finding a plurality of Britons are now in favor of completely cutting off immigration altogether. Just nobody right now.
Yeah.
All right. And large-scale deportations, as hundreds more illegals were landing on British shores where they will inevitably claim asylum. Protests continued across the country against the hundreds of migrant hotels housing many of the illegal channel migrants, costing the taxpayer billions every year. The protests have placed a heavy emphasis on the danger posed to young girls. We know finally people are talking about the migrant molesting gangs, as you would call them, and I guess there was demonstrations have been sparked last month after an Ethiopian migrant reportedly illegally crossed the English Channel like this, allegedly sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl in Epping just days after landing on British soil. Just days. The latest crossings came as Prime Minister Keir Starmer's 1-in, 1-out deal with France. If we let one in, we have to take one out.
That's what you're supposed to do when you buy clothes. You buy a pair of shoes, you have to get rid of a pair of shoes. You buy a shirt, you have to get rid of a shirt.
In which illegals are returned to France in exchange for Britain accepting more asylum seekers? How does that work? Why not just...
that's not the one for one then.
No, you take one and we send one? Like,
What?
Which one? Is it a trading game? Like, this doesn't make sense.
Is this just trafficking?
Because I think in paper they can say we deported, but then they didn't.
Right.
As long as they take one in.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they can say we deported, but unless you see them,
right,
one by one, they just can say we did.
Right.
So it's a way of, I think, getting around it. Even if this did work, where's the advantage to us? This is Brexit Britain. We voted to take back our borders, not to accept a deal given to us by the French president. It's a way of nobody crosses the English Channel illegally. Even if they should ever be given a refugee status, they should not be able to remain. They should be deported. So I don't know, Michelle, I know you were saying you're having trouble with the links.
I should be able to, I need an advance notice so I can grab the link and insert it into my software. So I've got all your things up.
That was it. Well,
no, it's okay. I already have it up. It's already up. Is there a video to be played here?
It's in the article.
Okay. That's fine then.
But that wasn't the one. You shut it down.
No, it's right here.
Okay. Yeah, this is the one where they're shouting out Akbar.
قوات رماح العراقي تم اجتياح لندن بتاريخ 8/8 الله اكبر ولله الحمد الله اكبر.
So Leah, what do you think that it's fair for the left to say, well, that's just their way of saying praise God? You Christians, you say praise God?
We're not the same.
I'm just wondering, asking for a friend.
Oh, well, 1 in 5 Britons say that they are willing to engage in political violence. That things are getting out of hand. That's a bad sign. That's a very bad sign. According to a survey of 2,000 adults in the UK by Looking for Growth, 70% of the country was worried that Britain is on the precipice of political violence. Perhaps more concerningly, 1/5 of respondents, 21%, said that the political violence is sometimes justified, and nearly as many, 19%, that said that they would personally be willing to engage in political violence if the state of the country continues to worsen. The survey found supporters of Nigel Farage's Reform UK party were the most likely to agree. That comes as no surprise. And the Pedos Out protest held by UK locals after migrant arrested over alleged child rape again and again and again. This is in Nuneaton. How do you say that? Nuneaton, England.
Wait, was that the same article?
So I just
a different article.
It was in the article, and I clicked on the.
Oh, see, that's cheating.
See here, this was in this article.
Wait, where is
boom,
it? Where?
Boom.
Where?
1 and 5.
Where?
And then you scroll down, and it's this one. You're on the there you go. Boom. There you are.
It's going to let me click on it though from inside of here because I'm actually in the system, so it's probably not going to let me.
Okay.
Whoa. Okay.
Whoa.
Oh boy.
We're all fine here.
Okay, here we go.
It's there.
Oh, it just opened it several times. Okay.
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 Up to 1,000 local Nuneaton residents, including many women and young families. So we have these young men coming over on the migrant boats, and we have women and even children and families who are coming to these protests because they are scared. They gathered outside its historic town hall on Saturday to protest over migrant crime and what is claimed to have been an attempted official cover-up. Nuneaton says no protest was called after it emerged last week that 2 Afghan migrant males, at least one of whom reportedly entered the United Kingdom illegally by a small boat, have been arrested over the alleged rape of a 12-year-old girl in town. Gathering walking distance from Cheverell Street, where the child rape is alleged, to have taken place last month, speakers addressed the crowd and attendees carried placards bearing messages including "Stand up for women and girls. What about our girls? Human rights to safety and asylum-seeking pedos out." Nuneaton is considered to be a bellwether of British politics. The way the town votes has generally reflected nationwide swings in the country. While the UK had a Tory government, that was the kind of conservative government, Nuneaton had a conservative member of parliament. Now, Tories. The Tories were the Liberals. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got it mixed up.
No.
It says Tory.
No, the
Nuneaton had a conservative member. Well, now Labour are in, and it has a Labour. Oh, okay.
You read that.
While the UK had a Tory government, Nuneaton had a conservative member of parliament. Now that Labour are in charge, it has a Labour MP. So Labour's the Liberals. I was like, wait a minute, doesn't make sense. Okay, there we go. So it swings. It's a swing county. The town's pro-Brexit result early in the night of 2016 was seen as the first clear indication that Britain had actually voted to leave the European Union. And earlier this year, there was a Reform Party tsunami, which saw Farage-backed candidates sweep Nuneaton local elections. I get goosebumps when they say that. That protests focusing on migrant crime and border control have now reached Nuneaton is an increasingly clear sign of wider feeling in the country at large. The protest was the latest in a now months-long series of demonstrations expressing concern about imported migrant crime being imported into communities through the government block booking hotels. So like what they're doing is they're just going into a whole hotel and saying, we're just going to rent. And your government is paying for this. You guys have homeless people. You have veterans. You have really poor people who need help. And they don't get a hotel. And while they're in this hotel, they get hotel services. They get food. They get a stipend. They get free electricity. It's like, it's paradise.
Yeah.
It's literally paradise. And it's awful. And so you'll go in and like a whole hotel now is just full of migrants who then go into the community and do God knows what. Okay. And then they're tired of it. They will buy up leases of large numbers of privately rented houses. And then what does that do? That takes those rented houses off the market for Britons.
Right.
Okay. In common with those other protests, the Nuneaton anti-mass migration demonstration also attracted a counter-protest. I guess migrants in, whatever. Yet the leftist counter-protest opposing the anti-child rape narrative was unusually subdued. With this journalist witnessing downcast expressions and only very limited attempts to get chants going. The counter demonstration was very short-lived because these people are there with their families, their women and children, and they have real fear.
Yeah.
They are really upset. And for the left and liberals to come out and you can feel it. And they're like, listen, this is not about political differences.
Right.
I don't care where you stand. This little girl was just abused.
Mm-hmm.
This is happening. What are you going to do about it? Okay, there's no amount that sucks the room out of any sort of counter protest, because how do you stand up for a child molester? How do you do that? How do you do that? It's insane. Like, it's insane. Demonstration accused the Stand Up to Racism activists in a series of chants of being apologists for our child rapists, and that hits hard.
Yeah.
You're just apologizing for if you are apologizing for a sexual abuse, then you are a sexual abuser. That's what they're saying. Police kept the Stand Up to Racism group surrounded until they had left the town center, while they were followed by pedos out chanting locals. That hits hard. One local resident told Breitbart News that he had turned out to stand up for the women and the children who are being attacked in our country. I don't think that there's anything. The Bible says that true religion undefiled is to take care of widows and fatherless. There is nothing in this world that is more important than the safety of women and children.
Amen.
Because if you are not safe to walk down your street,
right,
as a child or as a woman, you don't have a society, you don't have a job, you don't have anything. Doesn't matter if you eat, doesn't matter if you breathe, doesn't matter if you have shelter. If you are not safe as a woman or a child, society has completely fallen. Nothing else matters.
Right.
And these men are like, listen, nothing else matters. Everything else we can discuss, we can debate, we can do all the things. But if children and women are not safe, society has collapsed. It's done, right? So they want to take their country back. And I was horrified for the little lady and her family. And you hear it daily with the attacks, people who have come across the channel being crude. Listen, you have a right to walk down your street, but you don't understand what it's like. If you're in Great Britain and these migrants are coming across, these young men have not been taught and not been raised with manners, with the idea that you protect women and children. No, unfortunately, a good majority of them, many of them, are very young.
Yeah.
They're teens, they're early 20s, and they haven't been taught. They have not been taught to be good Christian men. Okay? And they do not see this society as something that they are here to build. Okay? But they're here to take. And unfortunately, that is the case. People who have come across the channel being crude, and if you want to come here and blend in, do as the English do. Wear your best, be nice, talk to people. Like, that's not what it is. I'm glad it went peacefully today, and that's why I'm here. I've got grandchildren, and it's important for future generations. There was a 12-year-old girl who got attacked, and her life has changed forever, and this has to stop. Here's the thing. I'm sorry, asylum seekers or whatever you think you are, and I know that they're calling you to come up, but if one is doing this, nobody's coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's coming in, because guess what? One little British girl is not worth sacrificing for your safety or for your better life. Because you're coming over here, and guess what? You know what they don't look like? Emaciated. They're healthy.
Yeah.
They have been fed.
Yeah.
They have food. They're okay. They're alive, right? So you don't get to come here on the backs of British hard workers. And if one little girl is hurt, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay? Stating the UK was suffering from having a human rights lawyer in charge, the Nuneaton local said the country needed strong leadership. He said, it's just a shame we haven't got a great man in charge like Mr. Trump. We need Mr. Trump in charge over here, to be honest with you. I'm glad he got in America, because without it, there'd be no future. Ultimately, he says, this country is being torn to pieces, and we're not being listened to. Breitbart News reported at the time the arrest of the two migrant males in Nuneaton over the alleged kidnapping, strangulation, and rape. Then stated Ahmad Malakil and Mohammed Kabar, these are names that you know who they are, both 23 and both of Afghan origin. Listen, the last place I want anybody coming in from is Afghanistan or Pakistan. Okay? And you know why. Denied the charges when they appeared in court. Of course they did. They are being held in custody pending their next date. Here's the thing. These guys aren't even cold and calculated, because they don't even think that they're going to be arrested. They're not even planning to try to hide right. They just act out. That's pure chaos.
Yeah.
It's been reported that the men lived in homes of multiple occupancy, a government-funded dispersal program for migrants, placing them in rented houses and communities rather than hosting large numbers of illegals in block book hotels. That's even more dangerous. So here's the thing. We're in a neighborhood, and you're just going to put a bunch of migrants who haven't been vetted. You don't know their backgrounds. You don't know what they're thinking. a bunch of Afghanistans. Yes, I'm not racial profiling. I'm culturally profiling. Afghanistan is a place where women and children are treated like dirt. Women will set themselves on, put gasoline on themselves, set themselves on fire just to get out of an abusive household. We all know that Afghanistan is the last place you want to be as a female. Like, if there's a country, I'm just gonna like roll the dice and it lands on you have to go to Afghanistan, and I'm gonna say no. Okay, if there's a list of places where you don't want to go, I'm going to China before I'm going to Afghanistan. I'm going to India before I'm going to Afghanistan. Okay, they're like legit. I don't know, maybe Yemen or Somalia, but it's a very short list of places that might be worse or just as bad as Afghanistan for females. So what you're doing is you're transporting that culture. That culture comes with you. This is what you have to understand. If people are coming from a country in which the culture acts a certain way, and that culture is so dangerous that you wouldn't want to go there, it's a culture when those people come, they're bringing it with them.
That's good.
You know what's so good? Is if you're in Poland or something, and most of Poland respects women and children,
right? And
those Polish people come to America. You know what I'm going to expect if I meet somebody from Poland?
What?
A respectful, honorable person.
Yeah, that's true.
Because their culture is respectful and honorable.
Right.
And if there's an outlier, there's an outlier.
Right.
But we have to be able to be, just plain. Can we speak plain about it?
Yeah.
Like we just have to speak plain about different cultures, different things. You know, even in India, right? I know a lot of people that will not travel to India because of the gross perversion but usually the Indians that are coming over here are the upper class and they're in the clean neighborhoods. I know. So they come over here and they're clean.
I know.
Right? So that is something that you talk about, because only the rich Indians are coming over here, the ones that went to college, the ones that, you know, are the upper class. They actually have a caste system.
Exactly.
To where they believe that the God of the universe chose you to be rich, and if you're poor, that's because in a past life you were a bad person. That's a horrible thing. You cannot claw your way out of that, man.
Right.
That's horrible religion.
You just have to live your whole life and then die and hope you come back as something better.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's a horrible religion, but at the same time, there is a culture there that has some sort of semblance of God and love, right? Some sort of, and respect and honor. But that, you know, if I had to classify the different religions, I'm definitely taking Hinduism over Islamism.
Yeah. Right?
But I still don't like it. And then I'm taking Buddhism over Hinduism.
Yeah.
Okay? And then I'm taking whatever those Chinese Epoch Time people do. Yeah. I'm taking that over Buddhism.
I've been adjusting the color. No, keep talking. I'm trying to adjust the color.
Okay.
On us, because we're very muted, and I've been adjusting the background thing instead of us.
Funny.
Which is so funny. Keep talking.
Okay, so these are the things that we have to be able to talk about. So like if we're bringing in asylum seekers, we have to be able to vet. I mean, there's people from all over the world that need to come in. Guess what I'm bringing in? I'm bringing in the South Africans before I'm bringing in anybody else.
Yeah.
And that's what Russia was doing, and that's what America was doing, because those people are hard workers, man. They have legit built a whole community from the ground up with nothing. No Home Depot, no Lowe's, and they built everything.
Yeah.
Right? So I know when they come here, they don't need to rely on the government.
That's good.
But in Afghanistan, that is a failed country. It doesn't exist as a country, right? They're not building anything. There's nothing there. It could be better. And your friend Horatio said his parents drove around Afghanistan in like the 80s and it wasn't so bad. And it was actually better.
I don't remember him saying that, but I believe
in a like a VW Bug or something.
Okay.
Yeah, and he said it wasn't bad. Like it wasn't bad in like the 80s and 90s. But all right. So Michelle, I know you have to copy things to get them over. Let's go over here to the Sky News clip here we played at the beginning of the show.
It feels
the one to the left that's the one that we'll want to play.
This works. I don't know about grabbing a YouTube, so we'll find out. It's gonna be great.
We have to.
It was a workaround that I did last minute, so we're gonna see if the workaround. Stop! I don't want you to click on it. If the workaround works, it's gonna work.
And then you can bring in the you can get the other ones.
Protesters on opposing sides, both demanding to be heard. In Liverpool today, protesters draped in Union Jacks shouted for asylum seekers to be removed from this hotel. Across police lines, Counter-demonstrators shouted back. On the anti-migrant side, several women said they reject the labels
usually associated with these kind of protests, saying they are mothers and grandmothers with real concerns.
I don't care what their far-right slogans are. I'm just an ordinary person who is concerned about the children in our community. I'm not far-right. It's ridiculous to say such a thing.
Do you identify with the far-right? Because we can hear now shouts of, hey, Tommy, Tommy.
Do you know what? I'm 72. I'm not a racist.
But what about the people around?
I don't think they're racist. We prefer to call ourselves patriots.
On one side, the organisers say this is a peaceful protest focused on protecting women and children. But the other side, the counter-demonstrators say this is a protest organised by the far right and they're here to stop fascism.
People are turning up to try and kick people out of the housing and accommodation. You know, that is not Liverpool. We are a welcoming city.
A lot of what these guys are turning up to protest against today down there, it's all fueled with misinformation and lies. I think they're being manipulated.
In Nuneaton, protesters gathered after 2 men were charged with the rape of a 12-year-old girl. Claims the men were Afghan asylum seekers led some to allege the authorities were hiding their immigration status.
They have done no risk assessment to the existing people in those communities. It's always the poorest communities. And if women don't stand up, right, because what annoys me is that I'll be labelled as a far-right Nazi bigot. I've been left-wing all my life, yeah? And I'm not far-right, I'm just right. And we have to protect women and girls.
Around 20 similar protests took place across the country. Although many were peaceful, some areas saw demonstrators scuffle with police, with arrests on Friday night in London and Epping after bottles were thrown at officers. Despite pockets of aggression, those organising these protests say their side now represents a wide range of voices, and they won't stop until they're heard. Katie Barnfield, Sky News in Liverpool.
Michelle, go ahead while we discuss that, and you can get this other one queued up. But that
I like what you said. I'm not far right. I'm just right.
Right. And these are the left kind of labor strongholds that we have here. Similarly in America, and what you would say some of the mining towns, some of the deep blue places in like Pennsylvania that were unions, and the left has abandoned them in favor of the LGBTQI nonsense. And go and when you have it, just let me know.
I'm ready.
But these people have a real fear.
Watch.
This is affecting them.
It feels like everywhere in the UK is breaking out into protest at the moment. The scale of it is unlike anything I can remember, and we'll take a look at it in this video, but for perspective, Friday saw around 20 protests, Saturday even more, and there are more happening today. So yeah, it's huge. In fact, there are too many protests for me to keep track of or even dream of hoping to cover. And that is a good thing. The left, by comparison, funded by the Socialist Workers' Party, seem to be running out of capital and manpower. I guess there just aren't that many people you can bus up and down the country to keep annoying locals. And when they do show up, they just get humiliated, mocked, and run out of town. We'll take a look at that as well. But the reason for it, let's be honest, is relatively simple. Most of these protests are locals voicing their concerns over things that have happened in their community. So when you show up with your luxury beliefs like refugees welcome plastered on a little placard, it just doesn't really cut it. You can shout fascist and racist and them all you want, but they don't care. They're there to support their local community, and that trumps every name that you want to call them. Let's start with a protest that took place yesterday, the 9th of August in Nuneaton. Now, based on the live streams that I've watched, thousands of people showed up to this. And why exactly are the fine people of Nuneaton out in protest? Well, I'll tell you, it's because 2 Afghan men living in the local migrant hotel that the government dumped into their community are alleged to have committed a very serious assault against a 12-year-old. Now, I'm not going to go into any more of the details of that because, well, for the purposes of YouTube, but if you Google it, it's absolutely disgusting. That's all I'll say. So you're probably imagining, well, yeah, the local community, they're not going to be too pleased by this, but surely nobody is going to come along to counter-protest, right? Enter the Reddit and 4chan crossover masterpiece. A fedora-wearing neckbeard cosplaying as a priest.
The 12-year-olds? No, I hate fascists. So why do you invite
so
into the country? Why do you do it? You don't deserve that collar.
Do you think it's acceptable the police tried to cover up?
You don't deserve that collar. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve that collar, my friend. I own it, thank you. You will not. I'll take it from you, I promise you now, son. Racism. What do you stand for? What do you stand for? Absolutely nothing.
Racism.
Listen, mate, this is a genuine piece of advice. The internet and the real world, two very distinct places.
Yeah.
And they have two different sets of rules, if you like. Because on the internet, you can condemn and harass concerned parents, and for the most part, nothing bad will happen to you. But in the real world, it just doesn't always work like that. So if you keep it up, then yeah, God help you, because one of these days you are in fact going to need Jesus. Anyway, it wasn't just Nuneaton, it was Portsmouth as well. And it wasn't just Portsmouth, it was Bournemouth.
Hello?
And it wasn't just Bournemouth, it was Epping.
The women of Epping are leading the charge to shut down the migrant hotels. They are now sitting in the road despite the police orders. This is astonishing.
And it wasn't just Epping, it was Richmond.
Wow.
And it was also Solihull. And it was also Newcastle. And Norwich. And Altrincham.
This is like really a lot.
I think you get the point, right? I can't even talk about all of the protests because there are so many going on. And so when I see people saying, oh, that crowd looks a little bit small, you have to put it into the context of knowing that on some days there are 20 or 25 protests going on. It's huge. It is absolutely massive. And yet, how much have you heard about this on the mainstream media? How much do you think the BBC covered this? Yeah, not at all. In fact, the only news station that would touch this story is GB News. And they even spoke about how little attention it's getting from the likes of the BBC and Sky.
After 4 or 5 days of protests outside asylum hotels, after that clearly being the top issue of the day, I went to the BBC News app, and the #1 story was, "It's quite windy, guys." And the #2 story was about Greg Wallace. And, you know, let's plug in a bit more to what people care about.
Frankly, I think it's really shameful that the mainstream media aren't covering these protests, but this isn't their only sin, right? The story I told you earlier about Nuneaton, a BBC headline for that would look something like, 2 men from Nuneaton charged with serious assault on young girl. And it's like, stop treating us like we're idiots, okay? These guys probably arrived in the country 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 months ago. They've been put into a migrant hotel, and you're trying to convince me that they're from Nuneaton. Even though they've spent their entire lives in Afghanistan, you want me to think that they're from Nuneaton. Stop it, right? It's just ridiculous. It makes you look stupid, and it's why you are fading into irrelevance. And it's not just me saying that they're fading into irrelevance, it really is happening. They are going to Ofcom, the BBC are, and begging them to force YouTube to push the BBC in their algorithm harder. And it's like, that's not how this works, okay? The YouTube algorithm just shows people what it thinks that they want to see. That's all that happens. So if people don't want to see the stories that you're covering about how windy it is or climate change or whatever it might be, whatever topic you seem to be covering today, then maybe that's a message to you to start covering the issues that people really are interested in. If you did a 1-hour segment on the protests from this weekend, I guarantee you it would get millions of views, but you don't want to do that, do you? Because you have a political agenda. So yeah, you can't just go to Ofcom and say, oh, YouTube are pushing people like British Lander harder than they're pushing us. Whatever, get over it, okay? You can either imitate us and start talking honestly about the issues that we're talking about, or you can just fade into irrelevance. And frankly, I don't care.
Yeah, so what are you going to do? I think Reform UK is going to sweep the deal. I mean, is this a setup here? Is that what they want? I don't know. I really don't know. So, you know, hats off to the protesters there, and I do hope that they get things, you know, settled. It says Britain's FBI to investigate alleged police involvement in the child rape grooming gangs. So Britain's National Crime Agency said that it will take over a grooming gang investigation from the South Yorkshire Police after the force came under fire for investigating itself amid accusations that some of its officers were complicit in the sexual exploitation of children and had personally raped young girls.
Oh my gosh.
A team of officers from the NCA's Operation Stovewood will take the lead in the investigation into allegations of child sexual abuse by former South Yorkshire police officers after the force requested Britain's equivalent of the FBI to actually take over. It came after allegations from victims of the predominantly Pakistani Muslim grooming gangs in Rotherham, who accused members of the South Yorkshire Police of collaborating with the child rape networks of sexual abuse. One victim accused former police constable Hassan Ali and another unnamed, Pakistani, of course, another unnamed officer of raping her in a police car as a child. The allegations threw into question the police force's Operation Leiden into sexual exploitation, with critics claiming that the South Yorkshire's police could not be trusted. Professor Alexis J., whose 2014 report found that around 1,400 mostly young white girls were abused by mainly Pakistani Muslims in Rotherham between 1997 and 2013, said last month that she was shocked that the South Yorkshire Police was investigating itself. In far too many cases, the priority for the institution of whatever kind is to protect their reputation rather than prioritizing the welfare of children. The head of the NCA's Operation Stovewood, Philip Marshall, said the National Crime Agency will ensure that victims remain at the heart of this investigation. So I do hope that people are held responsible and that the victims get justice.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to put pressure on these situations when you actually have members of the same community, Pakistani, you've got Pakistani police officers who are now taking part in the grooming gangs.
Right.
No, I don't think if you're a Pakistani, you should be a police officer in the UK. I'm just going to say it.
So
I don't think
as
so.
an FYI, the screen sharing on this is, I'm still trying to figure it out because it's not our normal one. I know on your guys' end, you're probably like, Michelle, it's totally fine. I just have to be able to talk out loud because I also can't mute us like I normally do. So sometimes when I click, it's just clicking on stuff and I don't know how to click back.
So just
there's no back button.
Okay.
So that page, whatever I was just on, I can't get back to it.
We don't need it.
Okay.
I'll let you know when we need it. Okay. Because I'm not going to bring this up, but I saw a video and it was pretty disturbing of a man on a London, London train. He took his pants off.
What?
Stood on the train completely buck naked.
No.
And he was confronted by some white British men.
Okay.
And they tried to push him off the train.
So you don't have this up do you want me to pull this up?
I do have it up, but I don't think you need to bring it up. I mean,
you
can give him.
It's a little weird though.
And there's a lot of cursing, so I don't want to press play.
Okay.
And the guy says, "What do you mean?" He kept saying the F word to them. And what do you mean? And the people said back,
"Oh, I
you
forgot
need to
Zero
get off
Hedge
the change."
does. I forgot Zero Hedge is it does this when I was trying the other software that we used to use. It comes up clear. I don't know why.
Don't worry about it. We don't need to see it.
Well, they can see the pictures. That's what they get to
But
see.
what is horrible is that people are saying that nudity on public transport is unacceptable, but the man in the viral video is clearly suffering a psychotic episode, and the violence he received was excessive. And other people are saying, calmly restrain. Excuse me, naked man. Do I have consent to touch you? Okay, I'm going to restrain you now. Please get to the ground and put your hands behind your back. Thank you for complying, sir. Permission to touch you again? And so they tried to talk to him. He cursed at them. Then the men appropriately responded to the situation. I thank God for men like these in the video. As women, we need to know our roles and know when to be quiet. The women who moved away from the situation had good judgment. So women got up and moved away from the situation, and they were bright British men and who came into the situation and tried to subdue this man because he was now a threat. He was now a threat to women and children on this train. Okay, and the government is now coming forward and investigating the men who tried to subdue this guy. And that's what kind of happened in the United States with that one crazy guy who was wanting to attack everybody on the train there.
Right.
So it's mental health, everything wrong with our society. Great to see people actually taking a stand, protecting the rest of the passengers. More of this needs to start happening instead of being tolerated and allowed. He obviously had mental health issues, but they did the right thing by subduing him so that he didn't escalate into worse behavior, especially because there were kids on the train. And the headlines are: tube passengers attack naked man who exposed himself in front of children. They attacked him. They defended. You know, there's a huge difference between attack and defend.
Yeah.
They defended women and children from somebody who was attacking women and children with his nakedness. He was just sitting there with headphones on, buck naked. And then he was cursing in a violent way. So you don't know where that was going to go.
Can I say something that may shock some people? I know when I do this, Leah goes, Michelle, don't do it. This is going to bother you. No, I'm not going to say it then.
Indecent exposure should be tolerated. Then is that your inference? Think not. So if you want to expose yourself in front of women and children, just blame it on a mental health. I'm just crazy. So I can be here. And so we're supposed to see that person in a different light than if somebody were more sound. I think we all know when somebody's having like a drug overdose and they're just like accidentally naked or running around like kind of accidentally naked. But even then, they're a danger to society and have to be subdued.
I'm going to say it.
Oh dear. No. Maybe don't. Maybe don't.
I am going to say it. This is shocking. It actually goes to the conversation that you had with Mark Baker the other day.
Oh gosh.
You all may find this absolutely shocking, especially given the last episodes that we have done. Aside from in my caregiving capabilities capacity, where it's been very quick and weird and just like you just look away really fast, Leah and Michelle have never seen male genitalia. Ever in my life. Okay. And we're in our 40s. It is an assault.
It's assault
on children and women.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like seeing a butt.
Mm-hmm.
Am I making sense? Like, it's an assault. A child has a right to go until they get married without having ever seen the genitalia of another gender.
You would need
or
to,
another person at all.
You would panic as a man if a child were around a naked
because
man.
What I'm saying is it is an assault.
It is.
You every child has the right to have that innocence protected.
That's good.
Okay. And so that's why I'm just like, I know it sounds weird to say, but I want to we need to re-normalize innocence.
Yeah. And protecting innocence.
And
no matter what. No matter what. I'm sorry. If this guy's having a mental health thing, whatever.
Oh, it's just no big deal. Just the human body, yada, yada, yada. Like,
that's Alfred Kinsey.
Exactly. And if you guys missed watching our pre-premiere of Alfred Kinsey and the Monsters of America, you can still go and watch it because it's the last video that we did. We did not do it on YouTube, either YouTube's, because we were, copyright issues and stuff like that. But I highly recommend it. I don't know. It seemed like a lot of the comments were, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But a lot of incredulity, a lot of anger. This is all really awful. And the reason why I bring that up is, yes, it is terrible. All this stuff. It's not so much that you can't watch it. It's not kid friendly, by the way. But I guess I want to emphasize that you think you know and you don't know. And that's why we did the documentary.
How did we get
You don't know.
How do we get to the place? The whole point of this documentary was to show you, how do we get to the place where they're cutting kids' genitals off?
Right.
What is the genderbread ban? Where did it come from?
Right.
So Spanish town bans Muslim festivals in public spaces as anti-Islamification movement gains momentum. So this is actually pretty bold in Spain. So the Islamification of the West continues unchecked. Millions of third worlders have been funneled into Western nations, especially France and Spain and Ireland and England and Germany. Globalist rulers in Brussels have remained silent about the intentional invasion, while anyone voicing concerns is a racist. It comes as no surprise that Brussels' failed open borders experiment since 2015, flooding Europe with millions of migrants, asylum seekers, and refugees from countries such as Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan, has sparked not only a deepening identity crisis in Europe, but also fueled a powerful resurgence of nationalism across the country. You move to Barcelona and your street turns into a religious parade. This is from July. The latest example comes from small Spanish towns of Humila, where the local Nationalist Party Vox enacted the country's first ban on Muslim use of public spaces, sports halls, civic centers, and for activities.
I think I grabbed the wrong one. I did. Keep going.
For activities alien to our identity unless organized by the council, effectively blocking the Eid al-Fitr and the Eid al-Ahad gatherings. The local Vox party posted on X, thanks to Vox, the first measure to ban Islamic festivals in Spain's public places has been passed. Spain is and will forever be a land of Christian people. He says that the ban will be
Play this?
You can. So this is Muslims parading Islam in a Christian country.
Yeah.
The ban was placed in Umila, a town in Murcia, the Murcia region, with a population of about 27,000, roughly 7.5% of whom come from mostly Muslim countries. The motion was proposed by Spain's Conservative People's Party, the PP, and backed by the Vox Party. More of this. I am going to say that because this is more of a forceful type of religious invasion, and it's not about just religious freedom.
Yeah.
It's hard to think about having to purposefully stop people from practicing their religion.
Right.
But it's not a practice of religion if you're marching through the streets in a Christian country. It's obviously not respectful. And Spain has had a checkered past with Islam.
Yeah.
And they're trying to come back. And so it is an active religious war, you know? And so basically saying no religious war here is kind of what I see. Speaking of war. All right. So Trump has said, yo, Putin.
I know.
You know that place that kind of used to be a little bit Russian? It's Alaska. You want to come visit? You want to come visit me? You want to hang out? We're going to go to that place called... Couldn't go to any other place in America.
Right.
So Alaska's kind of like not really American, but it is American. It's like it's a weird to think
America.
about. It's weird to think about that you have to travel 4 days through Canada to get to a place of America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's just for minerals and stuff. I believe a country should be a total full landmass.
So in this clip that you sent me for today's show, the is it Blinken?
No, it's
what's his name? Bolts.
John Bolts.
John Bolts was like, it wouldn't benefit Putin hardly anymore if this had been in Moscow. And I guess, you know, you may say that this is really ignorant of me. Does anybody else understand that? Like, I get the history. I do, but I don't get how the present, it's Alaska. It's America. It's not like Putin going to visit Trump in Alaska is not the same thing as Trump visiting Putin in Moscow. That's and it's an absurd
They
statement.
have to meet, and quite frankly, I don't know the mileage, but I think that Putin to Alaska is probably the same as Trump to Alaska. So they're meeting halfway.
Yeah, I
right?
guess so.
You know? Donald Trump says true to his line and stays true to his line and asserts dominance over the geopolitical chessboard symbolically as well. Following the announcement of a trade deal with the EU at his golf course in Turnberry, Scotland, peace talks in the Ukraine conflict with Russian Vladimir Putin are now scheduled in Alaska. The venue of negotiation often predefines the balance of power between opponents. It's kind of like chess.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's like, Alaska? What's the importance of Alaska? Right? In that sense, it must be read as a clear show of force that both European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, notably without military fanfare, traveled to Trump's private resort in Turnberry to be politically placed by the American president. Judging by the outcome in Scotland. Judging by the outcome of those talks, one conclusion is unavoidable. The European Union no longer plays in the league of the great powers. Washington's interest in intra-European affairs has notably cooled. focusing essentially on two things: an orderly withdrawal from military entanglements and the defense of the U.S. corporate interests in the EU single market. We are witnessing.
I have the wrong article up again.
I'm sorry,
oh
that's
my
probably
gosh.
me.
No, it's
Witnessing
okay.
a shift of power from the Atlantic to the Pacific. So Europe is losing its grip. It's hardly a secret. China and the United States will be setting the standards of international politics in the future. Russia, the world's most resource-rich country, may be labeled by Europeans as a para state and a malicious hub of all evil, but that does not change the fact that the age of post-colonial European dominance is ending. And Moscow will have no trouble playing its resource market cards outside the shrinking European sphere of influence. They are the only ones in the world crying Russia, 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 is Europe. And if they don't have any power, if their voice has shrunk, I'm sure China is actually Russia, Russia, Russia.
Mm-hmm.
India is actually,
there we go.
That whole BRICS group.
Yeah.
They're joining together. They're stronger than the European Union. They really are.
Here we go.
In this spirit, Russian President Vladimir Putin will travel on August 15th to Away territory in Alaska, once part of Russia, to primarily negotiate peace terms with Ukraine. From what I'm seeing is that, and I think that this is a deal and we can just get this done. Can we get this behind us? He wants the eastern part of Ukraine, the Donbass region.
Yeah.
That's it. That's going to be Russian and the war is over. That's it. Okay. Interestingly, I just read a section of Lauren Southern's book, This Can't Be Real Life, which I highly recommend. It's inside. I want you guys to read this book. It is the most intriguing book I have ever read.
What is
Lauren Southern's book?
Are you serious?
Yes. It is the most. I read a little bit at night, and I want to read more, but then I fall asleep. I don't have time to read until nighttime. And this is by far the most intriguing book I've read in a very long time.
So
when I was a kid, when I was a kid, I read Robinson Crusoe twice. I read Pride and Prejudice several times. Love those books. But her book is, for me, because it parallels everything that we do. And then behind the scenes, I'm seeing things happening behind the scenes. Like, and she's been everywhere. She was everywhere before she was like 23. She got invited to Russia. So she went. And she didn't have much money. She doesn't have much money. Okay. She didn't make much money as a right-wing pundit.
Mm-hmm.
And so she booked a hotel. And the guy that helped her get to Russia was like, no, we're going to put you in this hotel. Notably, she and Brittany Pettibone, who was a far right person as well at that time, they were the only two in the hotel. Tons of food, everybody, and they were literally. So Russia was watching them the entire time. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy who invited them kept saying, "Don't you want to be a journalist?" Before the war had started, that Donbass region was already fighting. The Ukrainians were fighting Russians in that Donbass region. And he wanted her to go there to report positively on Russians. And she's like, you know what? I got to get out of here. Right. So these are things you can't make up. So while the Russian government has not issued an official statement, much suggests Moscow will not return the occupied territories in Donbass, Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, I don't know that one, in the Kherson or Crimea. Russia currently holds the military initiative and is increasing pressure on Ukraine and its allies to force a resolution. To avoid overshadowing the personal meeting, the White House postponed a tariff ultimatum originally set for August 9th, and that would have imposed 100% duties on Russian goods if the war continued, pushed that back to August 27th. So we will have to see what unfolds in the meantime and whether potential disruptions derail this cautious rapprochement once more. One recalls the much-discussed visit of former UK Minister Boris Johnson, who 2 months after the outbreak of war acted as kind of a shadow diplomat to reject the Russian proposed peace deal. What is now on the table again, a land swap and Ukraine's exclusion from NATO, was flatly rejected back then. Hundreds of thousands of dead and wounded later, there appears to be a renewed turn towards diplomacy in light of the bleak military situation. This time, however, it is the Americans applying pressure on the warring sides. From Europe, little is heard apart from intense rearmament efforts and a declared will to remilitarize the population. Listen, Russia's not leaving those eastern territories. This has to end. If Ukraine cannot defend itself,
right?
It's over. Russia won.
They did. I know.
You know, countries have war.
But why are we still funding them with Trump in office?
Because Lindsey Graham's got all greedy and said, we just want Ukraine and all of its mineral resources. You know, that's what he said. Remember that? Really, he got all giddy about it.
So why doesn't Trump just start just buying countries? Like, I mean, like, I feel like the money that we have given to Ukraine would be enough to actually just buy it. Just buy
That's
it.
what he said. That's
just
what
buy Ukraine. Like, we've already given you so much money. Like, if we had come to the table and just told the people of Ukraine, like, we're buying, I'm being facetious here, but this is what Trump would say. Like, we're just buying you. Here's this money. We now own you. Ukraine is part of the United States Federation. Like, what? Why not?
Did you know that until 1867, Alaska was Russian territory, and actually before the U.S. purchased it from Tsar Alexander for $7.2 million?
Isn't that interesting? I knew something like that.
We bought
I
Alaska
didn't know
from
you were gonna
Russia.
just say that. Exactly.
I think we've already bought Ukraine.
We have bought Ukraine 10 times over. We own you. Give it, pay it, fess up. Where's the title?
My inflation.
Give me the title.
I pay every day for Ukraine.
100%.
My taxes are up. My
Done.
Insurance is up. My groceries
Done.
are up because we already bought you. Now I want something in return.
Okay,
As an
again,
American
we're being
citizen.
facetious, but still.
No, actually, it's true.
Here it comes.
We did. We already
We have
do.
faith.
Where do you think this money comes from?
I can't with you.
I'm an American citizen. Are you an American citizen? This money comes from us. The inflation, all the things. We've already bought Ukraine. Okay? And you know what? But here's the problem.
Okay.
They have to become Ukrainian citizens, and then they're on a welfare. So I don't know. The American citizens. For the Ukraine talks, location signals that even deeply rooted geopolitical divides can be bridged through pragmatic agreements. At the same time, Alaska has strategic importance for the Arctic, whose trade routes and resources will likely be integrated into the future architecture of global power. By hosting the Russian president at such a spot, Trump fuses historical reconciliation with present-day power. What might look as a PR coup in the headlines is in reality a move at the highest level of geopolitics. By inviting Putin onto U.S. soil, Trump openly breaks with the prevailing doctrine of keeping Russia isolated. The ICC arrest warrant, the sanctions regime, years of carefully cultivated enemy imagery, all of it, should the meeting take place, would evaporate in significance with a single paragraph. The message: the rules the foreign policy establishment holds as untouchable are negotiable, not carved in stone, at least if the President of the United States decides so. Behind closed doors, the focus will likely be on redrawing spheres of influence, a possible Ukraine endgame in exchange for Russian concessions, energy, Arctic passage, perhaps even a gradual distancing from Beijing. For Trump, the meeting offers a chance to pull Russia, perhaps through trade, into America's geostrategic orbit. This will align with the raw materials deal signed with Ukraine in April, granting the U.S. exclusive access to the country's rare earths, as well as certain oil and gas reserves. Listen, I need to understand something. Here's our problem with all of this. All of this geopolitical moving, like America gets this and Russia gets this. Actually, for Russians, they do get it. But for Americans, again, Michelle, I don't own oil and gas reserves.
Yeah.
I have no business in getting rare earth minerals.
Right.
So when you say America made a deal with Ukraine for rare earth minerals,
right,
I am paying for that.
Right.
You're paying for that. You're paying for that. But I don't have a rare earth minerals use or a business on that. So I'm not getting any return on my investment. And so to say America is getting this is to say Lindsey Graham, who probably has an interest in businesses that profit off of rare earth minerals, and he's got this business over here that needs the minerals that are in Ukraine.
100%.
So he's using war and leverage in war for his own his uses and then his donors' uses, right? If you can lobby the government so that this government will put pressure on an entire other country to get an entire, you live in New Mexico and you need trees.
Yeah.
So you put pressure on, like, you know, the forest in Kentucky, and so now you need their trees.
Right.
But I don't need their trees. I have trees. But you're making me pay for this war that's happening. This is what's happening right now. So we have to understand that none of this, when they're talking about geopolitical whatever nonsense, when we were talking about the Revolutionary War, that was real. That was a real thing between American citizens and Britain. This isn't real. This has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with the political elite and the corporate elite. So whenever you hear like this is a good deal for America, I need you to unbrainwash yourself from that. right now in Jesus' name.
Well, and you know what? It's actually worse than what you're saying, because the little guy in America does worse the better the big guy does.
Absolutely.
So if you're saying that America's going to get XYZ, what you mean is the big guy is going to get bigger, and the little guy is going to get littler. And so we actually it's bad for Americans. It's good for big American business.
Bingo.
Pause, commercial break. Sherry popped on, and I was going to wait and do a happy birthday for Red because it's Red's birthday today. Happy birthday, Red. Red's been with us. His name was Redneck Survivalist years and years and years and years ago on our original YouTube. He's literally been with us since almost day one of Resistance Chicks, and he's our moderator over on the Resistance Chicks Church and regular Resistance Chicks YouTubes. And he says that today is his birthday. He's 48 years old. So happy birthday to Redneck Survivalist. I hope and pray that God blesses this next year for you. And then also, Sherry Kula popped on and says that it's Paisley's birthday today.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday, Paisley.
Happy birthday all around. We love hearing when it's your guys' birthday. So please don't ever be shy to pop in the chat. And if I miss it, somebody can let me know. We always want to take time to wish you guys a happy birthday. Paisley is an amazing little woman of God. And I just pray that she has a wonderful birthday and next year of her life growing up in such an amazing godly household with Sherry and her husband. So happy birthday to Red and happy birthday to little Paisley.
Awesome. Michelle, could you bring this one up? This is the Zelensky here, where he is not happy, but I don't ever know if he's acting or not.
He's an actor, so you never know when Zelensky is happy or not. Like, he's a liar.
But I don't also know who's feeding him the lines at any given moment. And that doesn't mean that just because there's bad guys on one side doesn't mean that there's good guys on the other side. There can just be bad guys on both sides, right?
Yeah. Oops, sorry.
I know
it's fine. We're all fine here. All right, here we go. Let me see.
So he has something to say here on to the Ukrainian people about all of this.
Українці, українки. Президент Трамп оголосив про підготовку своєї зустрічі з Путіним на Алясці. Дуже далеко від цієї війни, яка триває на нашій землі.
Trump announced preparations for his meeting with Putin in Alaska. Very far from this war that continues on our land against our people, which cannot be ended without us, without Ukraine. Putin didn't believe in our people. So he made this hopeless decision to try to take over Ukraine. This was his main mistake, not taking into account the Ukrainians. I believe in our people, but Ukrainians are strong. Ukrainians defend their land, own, and many people in the world sided with Ukraine during the war.
Let's get our
even those who are with Russia know that it is doing evil.
Okay.
Of course.
The Ukrainian people deserve. Did you already read that part? Okay, here we go.
The Ukrainian people deserve
the intention, but all partners must understand what dignity is in peace. This war must end, and Russia must finish it. Russia started it, but it drags on without listening to any deadlines, and that's exactly the problem, and not something else. The answer to the Ukrainian territorial issue is already in the Constitution of Ukraine. No one will back down from this, and he won't be able to. Ukrainians will not give their land to the occupier. Retreat war is ready for real solutions that can bring peace. Any decisions that are against us, any solutions that do not involve Ukraine, they are also solutions against peace. They won't give anything. They are dead solutions. They will never work. And we all need a real living peace, which people will respect. We are ready to work with President Trump together with all our partners for the sake of reality. That's weird. And most importantly, lasting peace. A world that will not collapse because of Moscow's wishes. I thank all of our people.
So here's a problem with that. Little man. We don't have a problem with you deciding to keep fighting for yourself.
But you will die. It will be the end of you. Ukraine will actually, I joke about Ukraine becoming American. Ukraine will just all become Russia. All of Ukraine will be annexed into Russia like that. Is that what you want? because like you can't fight without us. So yeah, decisions are being made without you because we funded all of your war, the whole thing. My gosh, this is unreal to me. I do probably need to read some comments. It's been a minute. So Stuart the Brit says, would have been better if Trump had met Putin in Iceland like Reagan, Thatcher, and the Soviets. That would be so cool. Alistar was given to America to hide the real payment proposed. Russian Navy helped you win the independence war by closing off the charlatans from the sea. Alaska, he says, I mean. Stuart says, mine is in a few days, old man or what? That's awesome. Happy early birthday, Stuart the Brit. Over on Facebook, Todd says, they used to be called aristocrats. Now they're called the elite, not highly favored by us commoners. And I need another yacht. That's really funny. Over on our other YouTube, CPR6 says, we bought Louisiana too. Let's see. Says, I live in the city of 25,000 in Montana. One day about 3 years ago, I walked into Safeway and there were about 50 or 60 men, all young men from Central America, walking around the aisles, looking disoriented. There were a couple of American women who were directing the whole thing. It's insane. Oh, that is really interesting.
Why would you drop a bunch of migrants in Montana?
That's such a great question. I have no idea. Over on Getter, Gotta Get Her Much says, Alaska is a perfect choice. Large military bases, controllable safe space, except from bears. Alaska loves Donald J. Trump.
So that the Brazilian coffee that Trump put a 50% tariff on, is now being embraced by the Chinese. The Chinese are tea drinkers, right?
Yeah, I know.
But in order to make good relations, now they're switching to coffee.
Stop it.
Yeah, no kidding. The Chinese embassy in Brazil shared a video on Twitter that featured major food delivery company Meituan, I don't know how to say it. With the exchange goes both ways, Brazil is also strengthening its footprint in China with its popular coffee. China has this week granted export authorization of 183 additional Brazilian coffee companies. It's a lot of coffee companies, by the way. With 5-year permits, something also announced by the embassy. The drink is becoming part of everyday life for the Chinese people, the embassy
They're just
proclaimed.
becoming drug addicts.
And then Lula said, I will call Xi Jinping. I will call Modi. I'm not calling Putin. He can't travel now, but I'm going to call many presidents. The BRICS companies coming together to buy that coffee. The tariffs on there to punish Brazil for its witch hunt against Bolsonaro there. Michelle, I would like to bring up do I have it up? I don't know if I brought it up. Hopefully I did. There it is. The Mike Rowe video. Speaking of China, you don't die naturally in China, they say. You kind of schedule.
What?
It gets scheduled so they can take your organs, basically.
No. Is that real?
One Israeli patient scheduled his transplant in advance, flew to China, got a new heart, and returned home. People, you can't schedule a heart transplant. They don't have like hearts sitting anywhere unless you go and have to kill somebody to get their heart.
Okay.
How many organs do you think are being harvested in this way from China? And to be clear, we're talking about a market where people can schedule a procedure in order to get their new heart, which really is the first heads up. Wait, you can't schedule that. You're on a list and you have to wait, at least over here. But for a few $100,000, you can go to China, you can schedule and set it up, and you get a heart.
The situation you just described, Mike, Yaakov Levy, the head of the Israeli Transplant Association at the time, he had a patient. They have socialized medicine. They pay for people to get necessary work done outside of the country, right? Health related. So he said, look, I'm waiting for a heart, and I'm going to go, and they've scheduled it for me. And Dr. Yaakov basically said, that's impossible. There's no ethical way that could be done. Because as you said, you can't transplant from a cadaver, but the guy goes, gets the heart, comes back, and here I am, right? And that's when Yaakov realized this is real. There's something terrible is happening. And Israel was, I think, the first country to enact legislation that in some way countered this terrible situation by saying we're not going to pay. There's a bunch of states now that are enacting legislation like that.
So here's the thing that, we're obviously totally against Jack Kevorkian and, scheduled death and all of this, right? But in my kind of sick, joking head, here's what I'm thinking to myself. It is just like China to give cheap things because you're giving the organs from somebody that's like old enough to die anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, that's so Chinese of you. Like, give me the 89-year-old grandma's heart and pass it off like, oh, this is fresh 25-year-old heart. So good for you. And it came from, you know what I mean? Like, I know that was kind of probably a little bit off color,
it breaks up just like the Chinese toys and the Chinese furniture.
Yeah, exactly. You're not even getting anything good. It was probably really bad, but I'm just saying, like, that literally is my thought. Like, okay, meaning you don't die of old age. As you get older, you schedule dying so that they can harvest your organ. But like, or even let's just say you're ill, right? Then you're getting a sick heart or a sick lung or a sick kidney. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is so
sick.
It's sick all around. I just thought that was, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm sick in the head, but that was
no,
my
I
thought
think,
process.
I think you're right. I think you're definitely right. So Trump is actually trying to go kinetic with his fight against the Mexican cartels, and Mexico's not really happy about it, but he wants to go into Mexico and take on the cartels in Mexico, which is kind of like a war. The New York Times reporting President Trump has issued a new directive authorizing the Department of Defense to conduct direct military operations against select Latin American drug cartels designated as the Foreign Terrorist Organization, CFTOs. This represents a major escalation in the administration's counter-cartel posture, moving beyond law enforcement and intelligence support to offensive kinetic missions. The directive, according to people familiar with the matter, provides legal cover for potential U.S. military operations at sea and on foreign soil, bypassing the traditional law enforcement framework. It signals Trump's continued willingness to use military forces to carry out what has primarily been considered a law enforcement responsibility to curb the flow of fentanyl and other illegal drugs. The move follows the deployment of active duty and National Guard troops along the southern border, expanding surveillance. And they actually, I don't know if you guys heard of this, but Pam Bondi put out a press release that wanted a bounty on Maduro's capture to $50 million, Nicolas Maduro. So that's Venezuela's Cartel de las Solas, is supposedly run by Maduro, and they want a $50 million capture of him. We'll see where that goes. Recently, the Treasury Department accused Cartel de las Solas of providing material support for the Tren de Aragua and the Sinaloa cartel in Mexico. Both cartels have been designated as FTOs, and the Treasury said are threatening the peace and security of the United States. New York Times noted Trump's new directive appears to envision a different approach. And it looks like, you got the flow of fentanyl from China to the United States, from China from China east into Canada, U.S., and into Mexico, and then from Mexico into the United States. And it looks like the Mexican president is not having it, and she's pretty upset. So I don't know. She's in bed with the cartels, so we'll see. Honestly, there's no love lost for the Mexican cartels. If I see it as an invasion and I see it as a war, and that would be the only thing I would just kind of be like, yeah, your cartels are a military front attacking the United States. Why haven't we gone to war with them before over this? We should have already gone to war. You've already killed enough Americans. You're smuggling people in. All right, let's go to Japan. This is crazy. Japan saw nearly 1 more million deaths than births in 2024.
Yeah.
That is the country's steepest single-year population decline since the government surveys began 6 decades ago. Babies are so rare that if you walk through with a baby, people oogle and over it. Oh, look, there's a baby, because people love babies.
Yeah.
Even the Japanese love babies. In 2009, Japan's population peaked at around 126.6 million, but has dropped steadily ever since. The last year, 2 records were set: a low for births and a high for deaths. just 687,689 births were recorded in 2024, the lowest since the government first started keeping track in 1968. On the other end, now here's the thing, the population is supposed to be growing. So that number should be exponential.
Yeah.
Right? On the other end, a whopping 1.6 million people died, bringing the total population to 120 million, according to the data. That's why you probably don't see many Japanese traveling in the world. There's just not many of them. The ever-growing national crisis pushed the Japanese government to promote family-oriented policies, including free childcare, expanded access to health care, and shorter work weeks, in part to help free up time for procreation. I don't think that's what it is. I don't think it's freeing up time for procreation. I don't think that it's time.
It doesn't take a lot of time.
Even with mass incentives, the birth rate continues to drop while more foreign residents seek to make Japan their new home. In 2024, the number of foreigners living in Japan rose by 10% to a high of 3.6 million people. The heightened presence of foreign residents combined with the shrinking native people spurred increased reports of xenophobia, racism, and discrimination against newcomers. The cycle, in part, is also worsened by Japan's elderly, who make up about 30% of the entire population. They actually live long. That's one of the things about the Japanese. They're like, this is so great to be Japanese. They live really long lives. They're super healthy. And then a slim pool of youth and childbearing adults. Japan's working age population, falling between 16 and 64 years old, only makes up 59% of the population, a whole 6 points lower than the global average. Between 2023 and 2060, the OECD estimates that the working age population will dwindle by 31%. Regardless of how many patches the Japanese government tries to propose, there's no overnight fix to the birth rates, and it will take additional decades for the population to bounce back. The government concluded that immigration may be its only solution.
Oh, wow. From where?
Models proposed by the Japanese government, last updated in 2023, estimate the nationwide population will drop 30% by 2070, but is expected to slow down slightly, mainly due to the increase of international migration. In 2020, Japan announced its plans to fund artificial intelligence matchmaking systems to help hitch singles looking for love and hasten engagements and patch the sinking birth rate. So let's put this in perspective. When you have a technology-based society and not an agricultural-based society, and women don't need men and men don't need women, and they've got a lot of weird sexual things for men to get their sexual outlet out with all that anime. Honestly, I'm blaming it all on Japanese anime. It comes over, and what's interesting is that there's a lot of American boys and men, especially who were born in like the 90s, 80s and 90s, who get addicted to like this Japanese anime.
So it's a lot of it's pornographic.
Most of it is all pornographic.
And so, but also, I don't know if you've seen those, and you have, but I don't know if you guys have seen them. These Japanese game shows that are all sexual. So like envision The Price is Right. Okay. And you've got people come on down from the audience, and you've got a bunch of Japanese people, and it looks totally like a legit game show. And then all of a sudden there's like comments about like, sexual, all sorts of like sexual things.
I've never seen that.
You have not seen this. It's on mainstream Japanese like television.
Okay.
And so they have this, unfortunately, incredibly perverse society. So what that does is it makes it so that people don't really want to have, relations. And Lee and I were just talking about this, and this goes again to what I was referring to earlier. I can't tell this story because I don't want to dox the person who told it, but Leah was talking to a very manly man the other day who we know, and you guys would too if we said their name, and was saying that their wife didn't know what a certain thing was that everybody on planet Earth knows what it is. And he said, you and Michelle are like that, and I love that about you. And now granted, we know what that thing is, but like we do have this kind of innocence in our minds. But then we got to talking about, okay, so if his wife doesn't even know what that is, then that means that has not entered into their marriage bed. And for a lot of you guys watching, that is like mind blowing. Like, I thought that everybody did that, or I thought that that was kind of like a normal thing. It's not a normal thing, because it used to be, we call it a homosexual act, because it used to be that the forbidden fruit was actually copulating with another person. Okay. Like that was the forbidden fruit. But when that's no longer the forbidden fruit, then nobody wants it. And when you just totally saturate society with all things sexual, then actually being with a person of the opposite gender doesn't do it for you. It's not that, it's just kind of like a meh, like, and that is unfortunately the mindset of homosexuality, where you have now become so depraved that it's not that let me say something that may get me kicked off of YouTube. With homosexuality, it's not that the person is not attracted to the person of the opposite gender. It's a depravity issue. It's a depravity issue, okay? And so that's what I'm looking at in Japan. Their society is so depraved that they don't desire real relationships. They just want the next sexually crazed thing. Like sex dolls, and that's the only time I'm going to say this on the show, are probably the most prevalent in Japan than all other nations.
Yeah, I'm just kind of reading. It's the Japanese men are very much inclined to 2D relationships, like that, fake ones on just looking at relationships and fantasy in their mind.
Right.
And so if you go that route, then you're not going to have children.
Exactly.
And they just need Jesus is really what
100%.
they need. They really need to get outside. They need to start farming, right?
Amen.
They need to just get outside and off the computer.
So back to the comment on, or the topic of the death in China and scheduled deaths. Sherry says, years ago, there was a body exhibit that rotated the museums.
Yes.
We had it down in Cincinnati, where it had partially and fully dissected bodies. The ones with half the body preserved and half dissected looked like young Chinese men. And that was a big, for our world viewers, it was actually a big controversy here when it came. Because of that, people are like, oh, I'm going to go see the bodies exhibit. And then, of course, people come out and say, well, we don't know that these people actually donated their bodies to science or how they died. And so Ohio Croatian says, blame is everyone. NATO, US, Russia, Ukraine, the free world in essence. The Ottoman Empire is certainly not a problem early this century. Barry says, Michelle, you need to check out Monty Python, Meaning of Life, Oregon donation scene. It's kind of dark humor, but reminds me of what the Chinese organ story is. I know I have actually seen that. I have seen that, Barry. All right, Leah, what do you want next?
Yeah, so Canadians are upset.
Oh boy.
Because there's a wildfire risk in certain parks.
Okay.
But there's no wildfires that are like actively that they're trying to keep people away from.
Okay.
And so these Canadians are defying bans to hike. They want to hike. They want to get out in nature. They're like, listen, I'm not going to smoke. I'm not going to start a fire. I am going to hike here.
So wait a minute, you can't hike at all because
there are certain areas. There are certain areas. And it's a really big deal right now happening in Canada. So like Viva Frey says, just a reminder that the guy who just banned hiking, camping, and fishing in Nova Scotia forest used to live in Bermuda, lives next door to billionaires, and was identified in the Paradise Papers, which detailed prominent politicians holding offshore accounts for the purposes of tax evasion. Though Tim Houston in S was never linked to any malfeasance. Tim, did your billionaire Sobe neighbors ever thank you for the sole source government contract you granted them? And so he is, yeah, you can play that.
Walking here with my kids in Nova Scotia, in the forest, looking at $125,000 fine for walking on this beautiful trail. We don't smoke. We're not going to light a fire. I don't think really anybody else is going to do that either who is a decent citizen. So I think it's bullshit that the government is trying to stop people from walking in the forest. Hey kids, what are we? Free! That's right, we're free.
Greatest dad ever.
Hey,
literally, that's a good dad right there.
So New Brunswick just followed Nova Scotia's lead and banned people from entering Crown's lands in an attempt to prevent fires. As someone who spends a lot of time hiking on land that my taxes pay for, I can't think of a single thing I've done that has the slightest chance of starting a fire. This is authoritarian government overreach, pure and simple. They saw how easily they could control people during the coronavirus lockdowns, and they will continue to abuse that power with every excuse they can think of. Liberal government in New Brunswick or conservative in Nova Scotia, it doesn't matter the party. They just want control over you and me. We need to push back, get out, get in nature, It really does have amazing health benefits. Says the New Brunswick government has asked all New Brunswickers to stay out of the woods. The order applies for all forested crown land, but private landowners are requested to follow the same rules and keep everyone safe. Stay out of the woods. Stay out of the woods.
Even on your own private land?
It says, I'm hearing that Canadians across the country who feel fearful and alienated by the recent hiking, fishing, and camping bans, along with the fines and tip line. There's a tip line. If you see someone hiking, call. They're just turning.
And I love Karens. Don't take it personally.
We're seeing in provinces like Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, especially rural folks who forage and interact with the land daily. While the government says this is to prevent forest fires, the approach has left many feeling discouraged, disconnected, and wondering if there's a bigger purpose at play.
Of course, there's a bigger purpose at play. They want to keep you depressed. They want to keep you like, their goal is. Okay, so I would like to. Can I take my own commercial break?
Yeah.
Okay. Michelle's commercial break. I was Leah sends me everything that we need to do the shows ahead of time. So she sends me this screenshot of Donald Trump. Was it the Putin thing? I think it was the Putin thing. He has been ending almost every single stupid post with "thank you for your attention to this matter." I am not going to lie, Leah. Every single futuristic Armageddon government overreach movie has the lady on the loudspeaker where we're all in white jumpsuits with lunch cafeteria trays in the end of the world scenario, and the lady comes on the loudspeaker and she's like, "Today there will only be peas. I am sorry for this inconvenience. There will not be any eggs on your plate today. Thank you for your attention to this matter. You may now resume your walk about the cafeteria. Remember, stay 6 feet apart to stay safe always. Thank you for your attention to this matter." We are being brainwashed by our president to be ready to be ushered into some sort of end of the world scenario where all of a sudden there will be like things that fly through the neighborhood like they do in China. You know what I mean? Make sure you don't come out of your homes. President Trump says today is not a safe day to leave your house. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Am I the only one that is just completely disturbed by the fact that he keeps doing that? Like, you go to the grocery store. "You will not be able to purchase milk today. You have exceeded your milk purchase. Thank you for your attention to this matter."
You're not allowed in the woods until October.
We are becoming an authoritarian dictatorship world.
You're not even allowed to let others into your woods if you own woods. I have a couple if you go to my ex Twitter.
I can't. If you
that's
could,
insane.
Well, I can go to your ex and then I'll have to actually grab the tweet itself.
Okay,
that's fine.
There's two, but like, this is weird. Don't go into your own woods. Like, I feel like
what are
like
they doing? This is
Bigfoot out there.
Do you remember that movie, The Village, with Joaquin Phoenix?
I do.
The creepiest.
So, Canada ban being in nature is worse than the COVID restrictions. I've never thought I'd see the day when hiking or even camping on your own property would be a form of rebellion. Hiking, camping, and fishing, and the use of vehicles in the woods. And here's the thing: it doesn't say like this particular area over here. It just says the woods. It just says the woods.
What are
like?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean the woods? All of Nova Scotia?
A leisurely walk in the woods is no longer allowed in Nova Scotia, and it may not be for the rest of the summer.
Effective 4 p.m. today, we're telling Nova Scotians, stay out of the woods.
Nova Scotia's premier announced today a ban on activities in the forest because of extreme dry conditions and the risk of wildfires.
Hiking, camping, fishing, and the use of vehicles in the woods are not permitted. Trail systems through woods are off limits.
At these walking trails in the heart of Sydney, some agreed with the move while others didn't.
As long as you're not starting a fire or smoking, you know, that kind of thing, you should be able to walk there.
It kind of sucks for the campers and anybody out tenting, but it's probably necessary.
At these wooded trails in Coxeath, the entrance is blocked off. The people who run the trails say while they understand the province's move, it's also unfortunate.
So there's some expansions and upgrades that we had hoped to finish this summer that, depending on how long this goes, it will be slowed down.
According to the province, the penalty for violators will be the same as it is for the burn ban put in last week, $25,000, though camping is allowed at registered campsites and some exceptions will be made for work in the woods.
so they can get a permit to carry out their operations on Crown lands. They may need to operate at night, which can take place.
The Premier says with nothing but more dry weather expected in the coming days, the move is being made now to try and avoid a major wildfire like the one outside of Halifax 2 years ago.
We've had briefings from Environment Canada about the near-term forecast, and there is no significant rain in sight.
As for how long this ban on being in the woods...
Okay, this is weird. The fact that the measures are on private land until October 15th. Don't walk in your woods. Don't walk in your own woods. Hiking is just walking.
I think Sherry's comment sums it up. She says, these people hate life, don't they? They do. They hate all things God, all things life, all things whatever. Like, they do. Barry says, if you go down to the woods today, you're in for a big surprise, as the song goes. Chris says, so the problem and the solution is to cloud seed with mRNA now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we need, are you guys ready for
Wicked Psych says, I walk through my gardens and yard barefoot often. It does give a certain energy or feel. I can't explain it. Exactly. Like it's called grounding, right? So Lee and I are sitting and we're surrounded by all of these electronics, which means that we have positive ions constantly entering our body, and we, like a battery, hold on to those. Just because there's the word positive doesn't mean that they're actually good for us. They're really, really bad for us. And so what we need to be doing is we need to be outside and we need to be touching the earth so that the earth can pull that like a grounding rod right out of our system. That's what happens when you walk in the earth. But also there are several things that have been known besides grounding, by the way. Like I'm not a barefoot walker. Like I'm a big baby, so I don't like to walk barefoot. But just being out in nature, in the woods, which we are surrounded by trees out here on our back deck, does the same thing. It pulls positive ions from your body. Other things that pull positive ions from your body are sitting in front of a fire, like a literal one, not a fake one, sitting in front of a real fire and watching it pulls positive ions from your body. And the ocean. When you go and sit on the beach, this is why you want to go to the beach. It's not because you like to look at waves. It's not because you like summer weather. It's not because you like to play in the water. You are drawn to the beach because your body feels so good when that release. It's actually one of the most powerful grounding that you can do, because not only are you getting the grounding from sitting on the ocean, like the beach there, and you're touching it, and your whole body is like touching it, but then the actual waves of just being there and being surrounded by the ocean pulls those positive ions from your body. So they are literally trying to kill you and make you sick.
I just tweeted out one more you can bring up. This guy was just handed a fine, $28,872 for walking in the woods. And he has a video here where he's like, here's the woods, here's the Department of Natural Resources here. And to me, I know what a drought looks like. And this isn't drought. Like, the grass is so green.
It definitely has the feel that there's something else, that they're
like, it's
some other
too
agenda
green
behind it. Yeah.
for this to be drought.
Right.
Okay, for this to be.
Hey everybody, Jeff Evely here, out in Nova Scotia on Mountain Road in Coxheath. And as you can see behind me, this is the woods. But over here, this is not the woods. This is the Department of Natural Resources, where the conservation officers work, who issue $25,000 fines for going in the woods.
Not bad. I'm Jeff Evely. I called earlier.
Evely?
Yeah, Evely. I spoke to somebody earlier.
Yeah.
About the woods ban.
Yep.
And I understand that you guys issue $25,000 fines right now for anybody who goes in.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go in the woods over here.
Yeah.
I don't want to make any trouble for you guys. Okay, I took this to court the last time they did it. They said I didn't have standing because I wasn't fined, so there was no money involved.
Okay.
So I want to challenge this order in court, and the only way for me to do that is to get the fine. So I'm not trying to make trouble for you guys. Okay, I just want a piece of Tim Houston, and I want to be as accommodating and nice as I can be. I'm just gonna.
Okay, so I'm ordering you to not.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
That's how Canadians are.
so I'm doubling the fines right now. Okay, that sounds good.
That sounds good.
All right.
So I see what he's doing.
He has to be in the woods.
So the guy's asking, so he has to be in the woods, yeah. In violation, yeah.
Well, there's they're very
He wants
nearby.
the ticket
I
because he
thought
wants to take it to
instead of
court.
crossing the
Right.
road, I would just go in the back here, just for safety purposes. And you know, we can do it like that. Does somebody want to follow me out there, or?
This is
and, you know,
hilarious.
Yeah, it would be good to do a witness, and if it's okay with you, I would like to record a video. If you don't want to be on camera, I can keep you off it, but I think that it's in the interest of justice that we provide a fulsome record for the court because of the precedent-centered nature of this case.
Yeah, I like that.
I can keep you off camera, keep your name out of it, all that stuff, whatever works for you, but...
We'll be in court, so...
Yep, we'll be in court, so we might as well have a fulsome record, right?
Canadians are so
Yes.
polite even when they're breaking the law.
Sure, you want to show me where the woods is, out back here?
Stop it.
Or across wherever you want.
We still...
You want to show me where the woods are so I can
I
break the
understand
law?
that.
You're taking me in my
He
ticket.
just ordered me. He said he's going to double
It's
my
not really
fine.
a law. It's a
Yeah.
random
I'm
regulation,
going to
right?
defy that order, nothing personal.
Okay, so whatever
It's an
happens
order,
after
not a
you
law.
leave here...
Yeah.
Their parliament has to pass laws, so
Nothing
it's not a
personal.
law. Right?
Okay.
We got that.
Okay.
So, one more time, this is the DNR office on Mountain Road in Coxheath, Nova Scotia, and this is not the woods. But back here, this is the woods. So, I have a couple of conservation officers with me right now who are not on camera but have advised me that if I go into the woods, if I defy their orders to go into the woods, then I will be fined, and they also said that they would double my fine to $50,000.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm going to
They
walk
can do
down
that?
here and go into
Just
these
randomly
woods.
double the fine?
I don't know that there's a good spot to do this, but
Leah.
I'm just going to make this as painless as I can for those guys and go in here.
Leah, there's no way to go into the woods. What am I even watching?
And they have me on camera as well, walking in the woods.
He's laughing.
All right, isn't this great? And maybe there's an easier way out of here than I came in. Let's try this.
Leah.
We good? Okay.
Stop it.
Okay. And I didn't ask, but did you write the ticket already, or?
Nope, we'll meet you back out front.
Back out front at the reception desk there? Okay, if I bring my camera, keep you guys off it? Yep. Okay.
Except
I'll
for his
see you in there,
sunglasses.
guys.
He's wearing
Thank
those
you.
mirror sunglasses on purpose. Such a smart guy.
This is not the woods. Hi. I was just out back with the three gentlemen there. They said they would meet me back in here, so. She's got to get them.
I'm not leaving out my ticket, man.
So the order would have to go long form, and that would put us off months in advance for court times. So we just do a SOT for entering the woods without forest travel permit when proclamation is effect. You have a court plea date. Your due date is the 12th of September, so it's a lot quicker, just the ticket. So
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So this
you
is...
want to go that to make it quicker.
Okay, so this is an SOT, and that is for summons to accuse. What is this?
Summary offense ticket for today's date. Your information, Forest Act 25 sub 1. Fine is $28,872.50.
Okay, I thought it was 25,000. It's 28,870.
Court costs, victim fees.
Taxes.
Victim fees. Okay, sounds good. All right, thanks very much, gentlemen. I appreciate your courteous approach. Nice chatting with you. All right, take care.
Oh, this is still not the woods. So here we go. Whoa. I have a ticket here for, let me see if we can see that, $28,870.50 for victimizing somebody. Okay, so more to follow.
I gotta follow that guy. Oh my gosh, I have to see what happens.
We are going to keep you guys apprised. His thing isn't until September 12th, so it's a month away.
He is of course he is. This guy is a retired Canadian veteran, Afghanistan, Iraq, People's Party of Canada candidate. It's obviously really good publicity for somebody who's running for office, right? And yeah, so I hope he gets, you can get involved. You can donate if you're Canadian to him to run for office. He enlisted in 2001 as an electronic communication specialist and dedicated 20 years to serving his country. He deployed to Afghanistan, Iraq, and served with NORAD, defending North American airspace, and completed the 100th annual 4-day marches in the Netherlands in 2016. He's involved in coaching and community outreach. And so, yeah, I think that we need more men like him to stand up. And then the purpose of that, if you didn't understand, was to stop it from happening. But you have to have standing to go to court to challenge this order, which is what they were doing with a lot of the COVID vaccine mandates. And they were winning once you actually got to court.
So, Lee, let me ask you this. How is it different issuing a law or whatever, a restriction that you can't start a fire, that you can't smoke? Like, how is that different than issuing you can't go into the woods at all? Either way, it requires the people to obey them. So, like the person that's going to smoke, it might go into the person that's going to obey a smoking ban, or the person that's going to, disobey a fire ban, is also the same kind of person that's going to disobey the going into the woods and doing it anyway ban.
Yeah, so it was Fight the Fines with Rebel News, and I do appreciate Ezra for that, because people were, keeping their businesses open and during COVID. So this is a totalitarian lockdown measures just to see, what natural disaster can we use to try to get control of people?
Right, exactly.
So that's the show, by the way. That's the end of my show.
So Heather says, yes, Michelle, we are being prepared. And she says, into the woods. Ballistic Mystic says, so the falling trees don't make a sound.
Oh, actually, do have one more clip. Forgot.
Okay.
So in Poland, the newly sworn president of Poland, Karol Nawrocki, my Poland is a Poland without illegal migrants. It is a Poland where instead of immigration centers, there are deportation centers for those who want to destroy our safety. So there was a huge election there, and this is the newly sworn in president of Poland. And if we had put that in the title, we might have gotten more Polish people.
They love us.
I forgot to put this in the Polish Poland elections here. I probably should have done that.
It's fine. Here we
go. I love our Polish viewers. They're so Polishly patriotic.
Polska jest Polską bez nielegalnych migrantów. Tak, jest Polską bez nielegalnych migrantów.
Wait, let me pause them and see if I can turn the volume down a little bit.
My Poland, you want me to read over here?
Yeah, but I'm going to turn the volume down. No, I can now.
You want to hear some of it, though, because it's passionate.
In Poland, in which instead of immigration centers, there are deportation centers for those who want to destroy. This is a very big rally. Our security. This is Poland. This is Poland. This is Poland. I guess that's what they're chanting. Poland here, there's Poland here, there's Poland here. It's a good little chant. I'm feeling it. That's a giant rally. That's like a Trump level rally. Like for the podcast listeners, like that's literally top level. That looks super fun. That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's super Catholic. And I guess there are many others. I think I got one where he's defeating a young man with knuckle push-ups. He's an intense dude, I guess. People are. He's an intense. He's intense. He's intense.
Here's the deal.
Wait, he's a former heavyweight boxing champion.
You want me to put that in the
and historian?
Oh wow.
I don't know.
No, it's fine.
Can you just? You can't.
I can't just do a search. I don't think on Twitter
and scroll down the page. You can't just go to X.
I don't know.
And scroll down. I bet you could.
So
and put in his name.
Let's try this.
Nope. You have to leave it. Go to the main screen.
Okay.
Sign in.
I can't sign in. It's separate from XSplit, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Never mind. So, then you can't search then.
I know, but I could find a post to show them a picture, and I could share that. But in Poland, like they don't mess around. I feel like they're one of the last places where real manly men live. I mean, I could just scroll down his feed. Here we go. That I can do.
Okay,
let's do that.
Oh my gosh.
What?
People looks okay. I know you're like age.
You are an ageist.
Well,
you're not. She's not really. She just is a bad judge
yeah,
of what
but
ages
like,
are.
He's born the same year you were.
He's my age.
He does not look your age to me. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say anything on that. I just was a little shocked there.
There he is. I don't know. I guess he looks like he could be my age.
It just does not. But okay. He's a man. He's a manly man.
We're getting older.
I know.
And you need to be okay with that. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Obviously, he's a big Trump supporter. Oh, yeah. Look at that picture. He totally looks like he could be my age, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you were looking at him from far away.
This picture.
No,
like
I think you've got it wrong. What that picture does age him. Maybe they did it on purpose.
Trump in early September.
Leah's not an ageist. I was being sarcastic because that comment had been made. And we're not.
Right-wing Karol Nawrocki, representing the opposition PIS camp, was inaugurated Wednesday as Poland's new president. Thousands showed up in Warsaw Center to celebrate the start of Nawrocki's term in office, which will last 5 years. On his way to the presidential palace, he stopped at length to shake hands with those in the audience. 42 years old, who did not have a political career before being picked to run by the PSI leader Kaczynski, who won 50.9% of the votes in June's runoff election. In his address to Parliament, Nawrocki, I'm probably not saying that right, Nawrocki maybe, depicted himself as a president who would first and foremost serve the people, while striking a combative tone in relation to the current coalition government. Since coming to power in 2023, Donald Tusk's government has prioritized reversing. So I guess Donald Tusk must be prime minister and this guy's president. I don't know how that works, guys. It's weird to me. Prioritized reversing many of the PIS's reforms during his 8 years in power that were widely seen as politicizing the judiciary and pursuing those it believes were guilty of overstepping the mark. They were really trying to get out communist judges, and they elected Donald Tusk. He is still conservative-esque, but he is not the PIS party that was in control. And Donald Tusk is like the Europhile, the one who loves Europe, and bringing in this guy, this former heavyweight boxer, to be your president is it says something. And honestly, I do believe the idea of what Trump is supposed to represent, a lot of these countries are actually trying to vote in.
Yeah.
So
no, this is good for Poland, and I'm excited. And it is, again, when we talk about world news, for our world news, or for our worldwide viewers, okay, in America, our education system doesn't, even our homeschool education curriculum, I don't think it does a very good job of educating Americans as far as geopolitical happenings going on, the way that different nations run. Like, we get prime minister and like a monarchy, like we get that, like we can understand England. Okay, you guys have a prime minister and you have a king and a queen, right? Whatever. Like, that makes sense. It is very interesting to have countries that have both a president and a prime minister, like France and Poland. So it's like, okay, what is the role of each one of them? You know what I mean? And so we all look at Donald Tusk and we're like, okay, president of Poland, he's the poo-poo face. That's what we call them. Forgive me for the phrase. That's just, there's a biblical scripture for that, by the way. And yet to see on the other side of that you have this Nawrocki, whatever you say his name, come in like a Poland first super patriot guy, I'm happy for Poland.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, this is really, I feel like this is a good step in the right direction, because while the Polish people themselves are extremely conservative, there is, you know, and when we used to be friends with a Polish conservative news outlet, It's Pods Praz, we used to go on their show sometimes, and they were the ones that were able to explain to us the difference between the Catholic Poles and the Protestant Poles. And they are like night and day. I mean, I didn't realize that it's almost as big of a shift as when you're looking in like Ireland, when you're looking at the Protestants versus the Catholics. It is not just a religious split, it's a political split.
Yeah,
a lot of times.
One more to show you. This is Dominique Tarczynski talking, and you can see the illegals on the other side of their border, and they don't want these guys in. And then the next, I'll read this tweet here. Poland in 25 years saw rape decrease from 2,399 to 1,127. That's a 50% decrease. Britain saw an increase of rapes from 8,593 to 68,109, an increase of 692%.
Oh my gosh.
So which country is safer?
Yeah, exactly.
What good is your government if it doesn't protect women and children? If you need to identify what is causing rapes. Now, this is our buddy Dominique Tarczynski here. At one time, he had messaged us on Resistance Chicks. Love this guy.
You can hear now.
What's that?
Belarus? Yeah. You can hear them. Yeah.
What's that?
Is it a speaker or people? No, the people. They're in the groups. They communicate as well. They're very well organized. I think they are. Some of them are trained, paid, obviously. They're not just simple people.
Let's say I'm from Syria. I want to go through this wall. I break through the wall. What happens to me next?
You're killed. Dead.
Shot.
You will die like a dog. I would say to every single leftist, if you don't believe that this is war, come and see. Come and see.
Oh my gosh. What in the world, Donald?
They're not making any bones about it. If you try to go into Poland, you get shot.
They will kill you dead like a dog.
That's, you know what? Things get around, right? So if things get around and they get back to the migrants, that you're just not going to go to Poland, because you go in, you get shot dead like a dog.
Exactly. So they'll find other European countries to go to. And that is as it should be, because I keep going back to, you know, we just aired, re-aired our documentary, Alfred Kinsey and the Monsters of America. And it used to be that pedophilia was a capital offense. You could be killed for touching a little child inappropriately. And you know what it did? It curbed people from doing that. You need to have harsh punishments as a way to stop people from crime. And unfortunately, we live in a society where everybody says people are not going to be able to stop themselves from crime. And so it's just really mean of you to make the punishment harsh because they can't stop themselves. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely absurd.
And yeah.
Well, Sherry says they never have an explanation. We serfs have to answer questions for everything we do, but they are exempt. She says, excellent idea. Get campers to set up on the borders of the woods.
Daniel Lubert, on a French-Polish geoeconomics conservative rights activist, says, don't come to Poland. We are a bunch of medieval racists. If you are an illegal migrant, you will not be invisible here. You will be noticed the moment you step off the train, and every eye will follow you. You will be stopped, questioned, and searched. Your papers will be torn apart, line by line, until a reason is found to send you back. And if, for some absurd reason, you manage to say you will not find kindness, you will be tolerated the way weeds are tolerated between cracks in the pavement, left alone only until someone decides to tear them out. Every interaction will remind you you're an outsider. The way people step aside without looking at you, the way conversations end when you approach, the way no one bothers to hide their suspicion. You will not be invited in. Doors will close before you knock. Smiles will vanish before they meet your eyes. What you think is silence will be coldness. What you think is indifference will be rejection. Even in the busiest streets, you will walk alone, and that loneliness will follow you into every room, every queue, every night. The longer you stay, the heavier it will become. No, not violence, not open threats, but the slow, grinding weight of knowing that you will never be one of us, no matter how many years pass. The police will knock at night. The bureaucracy will grind you down by day. Every path will be blocked, every request denied, every chance stolen. You will count the days until you leave, and no one here will notice when you're gone. We have resisted many invaders, and we have broken several empires. We don't care about you.
The Polish hussars are on the rise. They ain't messing around. Okay, they mean business. That is a very intense statement to release,
because they want to protect their women and children. They want their kids to roam free.
And I like how he said, you know, that these eyes will not stop looking at you with suspicion. Right? And it's not that they wouldn't have had to issue a statement like that for vacationers,
right?
For legal migrants, like that. They're not saying that to like, okay, if some Polish girl marries some, you know, whatever guy, like prior to this, that wouldn't be a big deal.
That's a village in Poland. I'll have to retweet it. You can show them this. I don't know. I didn't know people live like this. So they have a village in Poland where I guess everybody has a big backyard.
Either that or it's just like acreage of grass on purpose, or like farmland or whatever. So now I'm back at that. I want to go visit Poland because we were there. Like we weren't in Poland. We were at the idea that we wanted to visit Poland when we became famous in Poland for some news coverage that we did. And I ended up with 1,000 friend requests from Polish people.
Yeah.
Because we were on their news, their national news. And they kept saying, come and visit Poland, come and visit Poland. Poland will love the resistance chicks. And they want us to come on November 11th where they do their national march every year. And I would love to do that one day. So Lord willing, I think in all honesty, Leah, there right now as it stands, there are only 2 countries, and I mean this genuinely, that I would ever leave this country to go visit. And that's either Hungary or Poland. It's the only place I would feel safe. I would not feel safe going to any other country in the world.
I would love to visit Bukele in El Salvador.
Okay, that one, you're right. That's true.
I
would
would
feel
still
safe
know
going
how I
to
would
El
get there.
Salvador.
It is still pretty dangerous.
It's
honestly, I would say
But
El
yeah, how do you
Salvador
get
is still
there?
dangerous.
Yeah.
Because they got mostly everybody off of the streets, but Poland is incredibly safe. Like
Right.
it's like no crime.
But you know what else that Poland and Hungary have?
What?
They have culture and beauty.
Yeah.
Like that picture that we just
Mhm.
showed. Like they still have beauty there.
Yeah.
They're not like, I can guarantee you if you go to Poland, there's not a Pier 1 on every corner. There's not
Right.
a Buc-ee's. And I know you guys love Buc-ee's, but like there's not a Buc-ee's on every highway. Like if you travel the interstates of America, I was shocked the last time we traveled on the interstate. I don't remember what event it was for. And I was just so sickened because every town in America now looks the same. Even there's next to no small town feel left anywhere. And if you have to like travel to get there, it used to be that there were small towns right off the exit and you could drive through town and maybe you saw, you know, maybe they had a McDonald's and that was like the most modern thing that they had. But now literally every town that you pass on the interstate looks identical and they all have the same stuff. Every single one of them. But in Poland and in Hungary, they probably still have mom and pop restaurants everywhere. They probably still have like mom and pop businesses everywhere. They still have their cultural beauty. And America just looks like construction and just gross. Like we have nothing beautiful left unless you go to like our like national parks or something.
Yeah.
Like it's just sad. Everything is just built up and everything, like it's the Industrial Revolution has not looked favorably on America.
No, that's true. This guy says, Daniel Fubert says, you don't need therapy. You need to come to Poland. Come to a country where children play outside without fear, where cities are clean, trains are run on time, and people still say good morning. A country that remembers what Europe used to be, orderly, proud, rooted. Poland didn't outsource its culture. We didn't dismantle our identity. We modernized without erasing. You will find cafes, highways, skyscrapers, but also churches full on Sunday. This is not nostalgia. It's the present tense. Poland is what Europe was supposed to become and forgot. Come see for yourself. You don't need healing. You need normality. And we still have it. We don't pretend problems don't exist. And we haven't legalized complete dysfunction yet.
That's awesome. So Leah, Sherry asks, what about Azerbaijan? Here's the problem with Azerbaijan. While it is my favorite show and I love it and it's beautiful, there is a lot of instability.
So it's a Muslim dominated country. And the ones that we watch are like the minority Christians. And there's like war. And actually what's funny is that
I had this article up. I was going to have you read it, Leah, because Trump did broker a peace deal between Armenia and Azerbaijan, but it's a Muslim dominated country. So I still don't think I would feel safe going there.
No, I wouldn't feel safe going there. And
Trump thinking that he brokered this deal. I don't know. I have it right here if you want it. Yeah. President Trump will host the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan on August 8th, or they did, and they signed a joint declaration ending 4 decades of hostility between the two nations. The accord also launches the Trump Route, a new transport corridor aimed at unlocking the region's commercial potential. By locking in this path to peace, we are unlocking the great potential of the South Caucasus region in trade, transit, and energy flows. Trump also signed bilateral agreements with both countries that span energy, technology, economic cooperation. Yeah, I'm not really getting into the weeds of it with Trump here, but the two nations have engaged in cross-border conflicts since the late 1980s, and there's the Armenian genocide that happened and killed all these Christians, and there's some Christians in Azerbaijan, and so it's not a very safe region. Yeah, exactly. So Sherry says Ohio is construction. I just drove through it again. Barry says you'd be safe in Wales. The only offensive stuff here are the sheep and the Arabs. Here's the thing. I don't know that you can fly right into Wales. And I don't know that the UK wants Leah and I to come. So I don't know what to tell you. Ohio Croatian says, Croatia extremely similar to our close friends and ancestral home of Poland, 100 to 70 AD, and home of Hungary, too, going back several hundred years ago. You're right. Croatia probably is somewhat, similar to there. So I will take your word for it. I don't plan on leaving the country anytime soon. I don't even have a valid passport anymore. Mine expired. So I wouldn't be able to leave. Arabs. Okay. That's what Barry says. I would not be able to leave even if I wanted to. I'm stuck here. Especially since I don't want to get that passport that has the digital thingy. You know what our Amish friends did? They had friends put them in the microwave to fry the chip. I know. Right. So if the chip doesn't work, it doesn't work. What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so Leah, really good show. Shorter show than normal. I'm so sorry that we showed up late today. We had technical difficulties. I've been trying to make it so that we could do some shows outside so that we're not stuck inside the studio when it's beautiful on Sunday afternoons. And I've been having some system issues. I don't mind asking you guys for prayers. I have several different things that I need to get worked out, sound in the basement studio, and then also live streaming so that we can do it outside. So I'd appreciate your prayers there. I want to do a gigantic shout out to everybody that has watched any of the episodes that we did exposing Scott Kesterson. There's 16 plus hours. We never in a bajillion years intended for that.
No.
It was just but we did go into it and we told the Lord, we're giving these shows over to you and we're going to trust you with them. Okay. Perhaps at some point we will do a more succinct summary, but maybe not. But if you guys would like to join us tomorrow night, and I would like for you to join us tomorrow night for our family meeting, whether you're part of the Resistance Chicks family or Bard's Nation, doesn't matter. We want you guys to be there. We're going to do a Zoom call that is going to stream live. We'll be in the studio. And I want you to come if you have your own story that you would like to tell, or maybe even just your own thoughts on it. We'll try and keep it brief so we can get through everybody, but just like, a 2 or 3 minute thing that you want to say, you will have the floor. Or if you have questions, maybe you watched 16 hours and some things just still aren't making sense. Some things aren't adding up, or maybe we didn't address the thing that you've been concerned about. So I want you guys to come ready with your questions. And also, if you would like to just come and stand in the Zoom room in solidarity so that people that want to come don't have to be like the only people there, please by all means do that. So that will be available tomorrow afternoon, probably around 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to go ahead and grab that Zoom link from resistancechicks.com, and I will have the live stream set up. We're just going to call it Family Meeting. That's going to be the name of the show, and I would love for you guys to join us. A lot of you have been asking me, will it be live streamed? Yes, it will be live streamed because I don't have Zoom. I don't want the app. I've heard all of those things. You do not have to come and join us in the Zoom meeting. I'm just asking for you guys to, because I want you to be a part of it, because I think it shows a solid force of people who understand what this man has done and who he is. And so I think that it would be a really good idea for us to have as many people in that Zoom meeting as we can, even if you're just there to be a body or a number, or say, I'm not ashamed to have, myself there. You don't have to have your picture. You don't have to have your face shown. You can just be there. So that will be tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Monday, August 11th, 2025. Come and join us. The Zoom link will be available on resistancechicks.com under the Family Meeting banner. I may go ahead, if you missed that for some reason, we might toss it in the live chat once we're actually live, and you'll still be able to come in and join us. I don't want to make it difficult. The reason why we're not just publicly going to put the Zoom link out there is because we've done that in the past and we got spammed in our Zoom meeting, which was very, very weird. So please come and join us tomorrow night. Like I said, if you missed Alfred Kinsey and the Monsters of America and you missed the premiere and being part of us and the live chat and all the 9 yards, that's okay. But I still would like for you guys to watch it and let me know what you think. When it ended, Rhonda Miller, who is our feature guest in the film, texted. And she said, thank you so much again for doing this and for re-premiering it. I'm going to pull this up so I can read it exactly. She says, it's by far the best thing that I have seen exposing all of this. And I can't thank you enough for allowing me to be a part of it. Love you, ladies. When I watched it back, because I did watch it with you guys, I didn't step away. I didn't tune out. Well, Uncle Jack was out here talking to me for a while, but I just can't get over how good it is. And I mean that. And I don't mean that as far as Leah and Michelle have done anything. It's all glory to God, but it's a really like top quality production. And I'm humbled that Leah and that God allowed us to do it. So I would like for you guys to watch it and let us know what you think. Sherry says, my oldest son's birthday is tomorrow. A lot of birthdays going around. Happy early birthday to your son, Sherry. That's awesome. Okay. So before we sign off, I have a special request to make from anybody that is getting ready or needs to order deodorant from Resistance Chicks. I actually want you to go ahead and order the deodorant from Resistance Chicks, and here's why. Because I need Leah to make some. And she has a lot of priorities in life, and making the deodorant isn't up there because I still have 1 stick left. So if 2 of you order, then the priority level of Leah making the deodorant goes up. Do you understand what I'm just saying there? It like I have literally 1 stick of deodorant left that I can sell. So I need Leah to make us deodorant, and I have a sneaking suspicion it's not going to happen until I'm out of deodorants. So if you want to go to, if it's like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to order deodorant, go ahead and order it so that I can get Leah to make some new deodorant. It is by far the best deodorant out there. Everybody loves it. You guys are amazing in your responses of all the different things that you have been using it for. Bug bites, sunblock, poison ivy, not stinking anymore. I love it. Now, just as a little inside baseball, like Leah said, I take it, okay, and I rub it in, right? It's a rub in thing. It comes on a stick. I hope it doesn't bother you. It's best to really rub it into your skin like you would a lotion. It's like a nutrient. So the difference between our deodorant that your body eats, because it's like, oh, look, food that can come into my skin, versus like a Degree or, whatever men's deodorant is out there, Axe, you name it. It's gender neutral deodorant. It's designed to just sit on, it's designed to be chemicals. It's bad for your body
well for us
to sit outside of your skin. And it's just gross, right? Deodorant, I mean, in general, like store-bought deodorant. Whereas our deodorant is designed to be absorbed into your skin and for your skin to go, like that. Okay? I know you guys think that we're the greatest show on the internet. So the next time we do this outside, all of the kinks and all the bugs are going to be worked out, and the picture will be better. We will be brighter and it will look more normal. But thank you guys for all of your patience. I'm so sorry that we were late. Shop.resistancechicks.com to get your good deodorant. Don't eat it, but it would be edible and you wouldn't die if you did. That's how safe it is. Okay, so I think that's all that I have. We will see you this week. We will probably, and this is worth announcing as well, I think I'm speaking for Leah here, we're probably going to be doing our dedication show to Ezekiel and the story surrounding his death. That's the dog that Scott was given by Susan, the amazing dog breeder, and he shot in cold blood. There's a lot more to that story. We were not able to dedicate the other shows to. So, and then Susan has even a poem. And so we are going to dedicate that show to Ezekiel. Leah, do you think that will be at 8 or 8:30?
When?
On Tuesday.
No, I don't think we'll do Tuesday. I think we'll take a day off. We can't just
Wednesday?
keep going.
That's great. Okay, how about Wednesday then?
These things
I'm trying to let people know.
We'll try for Wednesday.
Okay,
These
we'll shoot for Wednesday.
Really physically difficult.
They are, because that's right, because we're doing Monday. I forgot. I was just thinking our regular shows.
I would have wanted to.
Okay, so scrap what I just said.
Look for it on Wednesday. Hopefully,
Look for
if
Wednesday.
we can physically do it, because this is hard stuff, guys.
It is. And so also we appreciate your prayers, all of your support, all of your emails. Every single message has been read, sometimes multiple times, especially if they're super encouraging. I will go back and reread them because they feed my soul. And I thank you guys because this has not been an easy thing that we have had to do. And we wouldn't be able to do it without you guys and your overwhelming support. I knew that you guys would be supportive. I had no idea that it would be as supportive as you were. No idea. I thought we would have a bajillion trolls.
I haven't seen. We were one negative person, and like only things are like, did you Matthew 18 for us? Like, where are his defenders? Like, it's weird.
Well, apparently they're just saying, just pray for him,
but they're not coming into our chat.
No, but what's really interesting is that there are a ton of people that don't watch our show that are watching this and going, I didn't know. Thank you.
That's all I've gotten.
I didn't
I'm
know.
Shocked.
Thank you for doing this. But you know what else they say? I had suspicions for a really long time.
Yeah,
and a lot of red flags.
Michelle stopped talking to Scott in January. And the amount of people that have said, I stopped listening in January. What does that tell you?
Well, so there's several dates that I get. There's the January date where people say, like, I literally couldn't, it was like in January, something shifted in him and I couldn't listen. Well, that's when I stopped talking to him and feeding him his shows and all the God stuff. And then people say, then there was something really, really drastic that shifted in April and he became more violent and vulgar. And that was when I was actually supposed to or scheduled to come back. And when he probably got the wake up call that, oh shoot, I've lost her. And that's when the mask came off and he just decided, forget it. I'm not going to be that con man that I've been, that role that I took on. I'm just not even going to try anymore. It's too exhausting. I don't want to be it anymore. And then, and so people have already been leaving him. His numbers, I'm sure, have been falling just because of that, not because of our show. Although I know they're drastically falling because of our show, but people were already leaving anyway because they just couldn't stand the vulgarity and the violence. And a lot of talking about, pedophiles and things like that. So thank you guys so much for just being a part of the Resistance Chicks family. Thank you to all of our donors, by the way. You guys are amazing. There's several ways that you can do that. A lot of you have become subscribers on Rumble. They give an option to do like a $5 a month thing. And then you get like a little, I think a whale or something next to your name. So like a $5 a month supporter over on Rumble. You guys are awesome. Thank you for that. PayPal still works, but I know a lot of you guys don't like PayPal. So a lot of the PayPal donors that we had have moved over to our donation site on shop.resistancechicks.com. So if you guys would you can become a monthly donor there. The reason why I'm calling this out is because I am humbled by you guys. And every time something comes in, even if it's just like a $10 donation or a $5 donation with like a little note, thank you. And like I said, even the notes, like even the comments, like you guys mean so much to us. So I can't thank you enough. So I want to acknowledge those of you that have just said, you know what, I want to support you guys. And I don't want to leave that unacknowledged because it really does mean a lot. Your hard-earned money is like, I do not take that for granted. We're not those people. I don't just go, oh, wow, well, you owe me because we do this show or whatever. Like, I don't think that way at all. I just think, wow, that's a huge sacrifice. So thank you. That's a really big deal. So I want to take a moment to just thank those of you that, have chosen to be contributors because it really does. It really, really does help, especially when I have to buy new tech. Like I had to buy a whole new sound system when we got rid of Scott's stuff, which I'm still working on getting the kinks worked out on that. So, all right, we will see you guys tomorrow night, family meeting, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Link will be on resistancechicks.com around 3 or 4 tomorrow. I will be emailing that out. So if you are already signed up for emails, you should get that. I have sent several emails over the last 2 weeks. If you think that you are signed up for our emails and you are not getting those emails, please shoot me an email so we can get that worked out and I can figure out what's going on. So, all right, we love you. God loves you. God bless. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory if it's actually the truth. Leah, thanks for a great show. Thank you, God, for outside, no rain and no wind, and we were able to do our show even in the midst of technical difficulties. And I pray that you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And congratulations to Sherry, who became a grandmother again this past week. And she's been sending us pictures of her grandbaby. And I'm just super excited for her and their family. So, and happy birthdays all around again. We love you guys. God loves you. God bless.